All right, what's going on, everyone on the interwebs? Welcome to episode number 11 of the 22 Shots of Moods and Horror podcast. I hope everybody enjoyed their 2 week break. Um, 2 weeks ago, we had a little bit of technical difficulties with the podcast. We were recording, everything was going good. We were cracking jokes, making laughs, all the normal shit. About an hour in, I was looking at the download file and noticed that it wasn't fucking any size. So I was like, what the fuck's going on here? So I opened it and it said that the file couldn't be found. So we wasted a whole hour of time. It's down the shitter.
Basically, had to scrap an entire show.
So we had to scrap the entire My Bloody Valentine show.
That first hour was really funny.
Yeah, it had some good laughs. We had some good full moon discussions and stuff like that. But
we actually had some really good discussions on, horror as a genre and like why it gets like shat on a bit.
Yeah, so it's pretty much a lost show.
Yeah,
it's
somewhere in space and time.
Yeah, it's somewhere.
You can find it somewhere in space and time.
Which kind of sucked, but and last week Moodz was of course away in wonderful Las Vegas, Nevada, having fun drinking brewskis and taking pictures with Jason.
It was good times.
But once again, I am your host, NES22, aka Jeremy. I'm of course joined by my co-host JP and the man himself, aka Moodz. Got a little bit of a condensed show tonight. We're going to be opening up the show with a little bit of news from good old JP, and this news is going to include everything that we missed over these last. This is going to be week number 3, so 3 weeks from the time our last show and the time this show, and then we're going to be hopping into a little Moodz Swingz, a little bit of a segment, and and then there's Bonnie and Clyde, and then we're going to be jumping into a really deep discussion on the Tony Todd classic Candyman series. So first, a little bit of housekeeping stuff. Next month in April, of course, all your horror fanatics know, is Cinema Wasteland. And Moodz, of course, is coming down here to visit me in Chicago, and we'll be heading to Cinema Wasteland. So the first week of April, it looks like we're not going to be able to have a show that week, but after that, we should be back up onto our normal schedules. And if any of you guys are going to Cinema Wasteland and you see me in Moodz, don't be afraid to stop and say what the fuck's going on and all that shit. Because
yes, we will have our own booth and we will be signing autographs
with Dustin Mills. We'll be right next to him. So
yeah, with Dustin Mills for sure.
Yeah. So I know JP wanted to say something, so go ahead, JP.
Yeah. First of all, we have now took some extra precautions to make sure we will not lose any more shows. So that's one thing that wanted to make sure we talked about. Second, we actually are now kind of partnered up with a new website. This website is like just launching. It actually does have some stuff on it right now, some recaps of The Walking Dead and some little articles here and there and stuff, but it's pretty much the official like home of this podcast now. I mean, the first home is always going to be Moods' channel, but this is where we kind of like partnered up with now.
So what happened to that last website that we were on? Are we still going to be on that website, or what's going on?
I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure we could if we wanted to. I haven't really talked to the guys yet, but the website that we're now going to be featured on, for sure, we have our own little tab and everything. It's www.knowyourhorror.com. Definitely check it out.
You can't say fucking www.jp. Come on, triple W. What the fuck is this? What is up with your triple W's? What are we gonna do for triple W's? It's like
I thought that if I said what you said, I might have stumbled the words a bit. So
www. dot.
Yeah, I might have added an extra W or forgot one. So www.com. Fucking know your horror, man. Check it out. It's you can find our podcast there every week, along with 2 other podcasts and a bunch of cool articles and stuff. It's a brand new website. Definitely looking forward to building the site along with Vince who created the site. He's also a host of one of the podcasts. I believe his first cast might be up by the time you hear this. The first cast on that site, and he got an interview coming out with somebody, so definitely check that out. And that's pretty much all I wanted to say. We'll probably mention Know Your Horror from now on every once in a while, and it'll always be in the description because Moodz is really good at putting 30 links in the description every show.
Man, it takes me a long time to put the links in every show. It's crazy, man.
This should just keep a tab open.
Especially with YouTube. Oh, totally. Yeah. Well, I find now, like, if even like on my own videos and stuff, in my second part of my update, I had a few shout outs. But a lot of the newer YouTubers, you can't type in their names in the search engine, and their channels will come up. So I'm having a hard time. And with the new format, I'm like, I had to go into my comment section to click on their channel and go and find the link that way. I was like, this is crazy. I'm like, W Double's like, I know he commented on this video, so I'm gonna link it through there. It's just such a pain, man. Such a pain.
Yeah, when I did my shout out video, I also noticed that. But I mean, that's even like our Body Bags channel. Like, we can't tell people go to YouTube/bodybags.com because that's not it. It's like they got rid of that. I'm glad I created my channel in pre.
Yeah, it was really annoying because I was talking to some of my classmates, and we were talking about Body Bags, and they're like, "Oh, what's the link?" It's like, I can't just give them the fucking link because there is no fucking link. It's so fucking annoying. It's so annoying.
Yeah,
it is. I mean, I guess it's kind of because every name was getting taken, probably. You know what I mean? I don't know. I wonder if you can, like, if there's some kind of like, you know, premium or something where you could pay to have your actual URL with the name. They should probably do that.
I know my name, you could still do it on my channel. You could just type in.
Oh yeah, all the channels that were made.
All of us older ones, yeah.
I
don't know why it would change anything though. Like, when you search something, if you put someone's name in there, it's specific, right? So why wouldn't it just come up? It's like searching a word. You're looking for, you know, a new video by somebody. You type in that, it comes up, right? It's just, I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Yep. So anything else, JP?
No, that's all.
All right. So lots and lots and lots of news we got here, guys. Lots of release information and a whole bunch of shit. JP's got his shit cut out for him. So go ahead, JP. It's your first bit of news.
Okay. So the first, like, pieces of news, of course, are going to be stuff that we talked about last week, but you guys didn't hear it.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Thank you. First up, the Dark Tower is still kind of in development hell. It's somebody was interviewed, and I guess they want to do it, but there's still a bunch of production issues. Dark Tower, of course, is that huge ass Stephen King series. I'm completely unfamiliar with it. Besides, I know it's about, you know, some kind of gunslinger in a post-apocalyptic world. It sounds really, really cool. And I mentioned this. I think that if they did it in like the Harry Potter format, where they, you know, made each film huge, I think that it could, you know, be a really, really cool series. But they probably will just try to like, do something weird, like make it one film or something. I don't know.
Or like a mini series, like The Stand or something. I think
that could work.
Yeah, I mean, it's long though. It really is. Like that Dark Tower series, I think it's like up to at least 9 books, and those are just not normal size. They're like 1,000-page books, man. It's
I
like
heard
a
the series is really confusing too.
I've read the first 3 books, but I read them years and years ago. I honestly could not give you.
Yeah, but it's like, how long do you think it's going to take till we see a Doctor Sleep film come out? I think that will be
think they would hop on that right away.
That will be a very interesting thing to see when that gets made.
I bet you that gets announced soon.
Have you guys read it?
Yeah, I've read it.
No, I've actually yet to pick it up, and I'm really ashamed to say that because I have a lot of Stephen King novels.
It's good. You guys should read it. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Now that I'm gonna look that up if they're making a film. Anyway, I've never read them, so what are they? What is it? Dark Towers? It's called.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's what, like 7 books or something crazy like that.
Yeah, there's like
7
or 8. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, if they actually would do it, you know, put a big budget and make it a big budgeted like series, if they plan on making the full series, I think that I think that it would have to make money. It just seems like something that would. I know this series has like a huge fan base, and what isn't like Stephen King like one of the like most known writers or something? Like,
I would think so. He has a shit ton of books out.
yeah,
I mean,
been around forever.
you literally can't go into anyone's home that actually reads books and not find a Stephen King novel in their house. It's crazy. You know,
Yeah.
it really truly is.
Okay, so more Stephen King news, kind of. It. This guy named Cary Fukunaga.
Oh yeah, Mr.
something.
Cary. Oh, we're going back to Mr. Cary Fukunaga. Just who I want to
Yeah.
make fucking my horror hit remake.
I guess
of
he's gonna
fucking
be-
no name horror Nika Nika Nakanawa. It's just
He's
what I
gonna
want.
be directing and writing the remake of It, and he's gonna do it after his next film. Now this has been talked about since I believe like 2010. So
Oh boy.
who knows if it's actually gonna happen? I think the keys to remaking It, one, it has to be a period piece. You have to have it set in the era that the miniseries is set in, with the kids, growing up, and then you can't have it like in the 80s and then present day when they're older, the 30 years later part. You can't have that present day, and it has to be the original era. I think you have to have a strong clown, and it has to be
Coming soon, Leonardo DiCaprio in.
And you
It.
also gotta make this one less of a comedy like the first one is.
You said that joke last time, and it's still fun.
We should try and think of
It is.
the funniest person to play Pennywise ever.
Uh,
Who you think would be the funniest person to play Pennywise?
Ross Noble.
No, that is a terrible choice.
Come on, man. No, I know.
No,
That's
know
like
that
worse than
I
fucking.
honestly don't know. I don't.
It is not a comedy. It just has funny parts in it. Maybe unintentionally funny parts, but
Yeah, okay, I'll roll with that.
okay. So, but yeah, I actually kind of agree with that.
It's like
being
saying
set-
Russell Brand played fucking Pennywise.
I hate that guy.
I know, but it's so funny.
Ah.
Just bring back Tim Curry and we'll all be good.
I do really agree with the it being set in the the original time. I think that's
What was it?
a
The
good idea.
50s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like from the the original TV series, like just keeping it to that same kind of format, but just kind of like, is there any like what are they going to do with this? Are they just going to make a straight remake, or are they going to fine tune this thing, or what? I don't know.
I think the key here, why it's interesting to me, is that it's theatrical, which means that it's
Gonna
not
be garbage.
a movie, which means that you can go a little bit harder.
Mm.
And
Make
it'll
it a
probably
hard
be
R.
90 minutes instead of 192
well,
minutes.
That's the thing. Also, you have they that's what they're worried about. I remember hearing them say like it almost has to be two films. It has to be a two-parter. Like you can't fit that story.
I don't think that's gonna
part.
work. I can't think of any mainstream horror film that's in two parts.
Kill Bill.
That's not horror.
I agree with you, but I agree that they.
Oh,
like,
I didn't
like,
the horror part.
But
like I'm
but
not saying
come on,
I'm not saying
I think it
there's-
would work. It
I'm
would
not-
work.
I'm not saying there's not films that aren't put in two parts. All the fucking Hobbit movies are three parts, but a horror movie being put in two parts and theatrical release, I mean, that's gonna be rough. I don't think the public's gonna buy that very much. And I
do think it would work, dude. I just don't think they'll do it. It's just something that they won't.
I don't think it will work. I don't think the general public will pay twice to see one movie.
Just
if it's like
film.
Yeah, if it's like Harry Potter or something, people are gonna flood to see it. But like, who's really gonna pay twice to see the shitty It remake by Cary Fukunaga Fama Dama Dama?
Dude, but it's It. Like as long as it's a good product, they'll go see it. Man.
You know what's gonna happen here?
It is classic. You talk to anybody and like, it's when you talk to people and ask them, what movie like scared them the most. There's a lot of people that say It.
And freaking Cary Fukunaga's one film, Jane Eyre. It's his only mainstream film. Do we really want this douchebag fucking directing the remake of It? Throw me a fucking...
Now, why does he gotta be a douchebag? Like,
you know what's gonna happen here?
Why does he have to be a douchebag? Because he has no experience in the horror genre. Why the fuck is he directing one of the most, praised horror TV series ever? horror TV series ever. It's like, this film made my top overrated list, but it's like,
And he's a douchebag.
this
You know what's
doesn't
gonna
make
happen
any
here?
sense.
They're not going to be able to get Russell Brand to play Pennywise. So you know what this is going to come down to? They're just going to fucking CGI the clown.
Or we get
See, if you make this a TV movie, they don't have the budget, so they'll put a dude in a suit,
or
right?
we get
But
Hornswoggle do it.
Yeah. Or so you make this thing
God.
theatrical. They have a little more money. They're like, fuck it, man. We'll just CGI the shit out of this. Make it look like a real good CGI clown.
That would not surprise me, to be honest.
You know, like honestly, when you really think about it, that would be so bad. I think that would be that's the death of the movie right there.
Yeah, but then I'm just gonna go turn on Stitches and be like, okay, I'm happy now instead of watching this piece of shit.
I think there's potential there, man. I really do. Like,
I think if they make the movie a 3-hour film, why not? 3-hour theatrical film. You could probably squeeze what you need to in 3 hours.
Well, what was the miniseries?
I think it comes down to about 3 hours running time or something.
I think so.
192 minutes.
So it's just over 3 hours then. So it's not much of a difference. But
yeah, I think you can do it. Yeah. All you need to do, man, the keys are better ending. I don't know what's in the book, but the ending of the original It is pretty garbage in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's going to be better than Vampire.
It's like the one flaw.
Nothing is going to be better than VampireCon.
It is going to be better than VampireCon.
Nothing is going to be better than VampireCon. That's my most anticipated movie of the rest of my life.
Even more than Beaver Zombies?
Oh my god, Beaver Zombies. Looks so good.
Zombeaver, sorry, I should call it.
Zombeavers.
Right. I really want to know more about this VampireCon project, though.
But what about Zombeavers? Come
on. I don't know about Zombeavers. I've seen people talking about that. I'm still.
I posted it in the Facebook group. That trailer is ridiculous. Beyond
that's hilarious. Zombeavers.
Anyway, moving on. The Purge Anarchy trailer came out. Now this is a couple weeks ago. This, when we originally reported on this on the Lost episode, this was new. This was new.
So it was going to be referred to the Lost episode.
Yeah. But. So when we talked about that, the release date was June 20th. Now, luckily we did lose this episode because now it all makes it worth it because I get to tell you guys that the new release date is July 18th.
Now wait, was it this episode or the Lost episode or the episode before that I reported that Leprechaun Origins is coming out in August 2014? Because we didn't know a date.
That was the episode before.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I couldn't remember.
Okay, so yeah, The Purge. I watched the trailer.
Yeah, it looks interesting.
Really want to talk about it.
It looks interesting.
It does. It looks more interesting because they're taking it outside, but it's still. I think it's just gonna have that Hollywood crap added to it.
I thought it looked like shit, man.
You watched it?
I thought it looked like shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. It looks like I don't know. It could be better than or more. I don't know. Who knows how this is going to turn out?
I was thinking about The Purge at work the other day. For some reason, I think I was talking to somebody about it, and I just remember it's such a frustrating film. It's so silly, dude.
Are we really going to talk about The Purge again?
No, we're not. Let's move on. Fuck The Purge.
We already talked about this for like an hour.
Next up. There's now see, I'm actually forgetting some of this news because I wrote it down. There is a anthology called Locker 13 that was a successful Kickstarter campaign, and it actually sounded kind of interesting. Basically,
don't see those often.
Yeah, I guess it was successful in its campaign. It has something to do, this was a little while ago when I read this, but it has something to do with a locker in some kind of area. It was a school or, a gym or something. And basically the story is being told by somebody who is knows something about this locker, and there's items in the locker and the items reflect the story. It's something like that. It sounded kind of interesting. So be on the lookout for Locker 13.
So it's kind of like Friday the 13th, the TV series, where each item is an episode.
Maybe, kind of something like that. I can't, like, my memory's shot. I don't know what's going on with me.
Actually, you know what?
It's that cocaine's going to your mind.
Regardless, it sounds kind of cool to me, man. Even if you can't even fully remember or explain it properly, it sounds cool to me.
I could tell you about an anthology where, you know, each rock, there's like rocks on the ground and they have to do with the story, and you'd be interested because you like anthologies that much. So
I know, man. I'd watch any anthology, to be honest. So
yeah, I like them too a lot. After that, we have Platinum Dunes. Good old Platinum Dunes making news again. They have tapped a director, which I didn't bother to even write down his name. And he's going to be directing the Birds remake. The remake of the Birds? What?
Oh, come on. Alfred Hitchcock is rolling in his grave right now.
Oh, I can already see it, man. The bad CGI bird.
I mean,
it's gonna be like it's gonna be like Birdemic.
I mean,
isn't that the first thing you think of?
He already slit his throat after watching the Psycho remake. I can only imagine what he's gonna do after seeing this.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It can't be worse than the
Psycho. Just don't bring back Vince Vaughn, please. Whatever you do.
Well, at least the Psycho remake didn't have a bunch of. Well, I guess there's really no place to put CGI in that remake, but. But yeah, the birds is just it's like a calling card for a fucking disaster of CGI shit, man. Like they're not going to use real fucking birds. Like they're not going to do anything like that, right? So,
I mean, but isn't that as soon as you hear the Birds being remade, Platinum Dunes, you just picture CGI. That's like the only thing you think of. So I have absolutely 100% no interest in this.
Yeah, either do I actually.
I don't have any interest with any remakes. Besides The Hills Have Eyes.
That's not true for me.
Besides The Hills Have Eyes.
I'm interested in the Hellraiser remake.
What?
Yeah. I think you need to remake that series for anything to happen. After that, we have a new film by Victor Salva. This was surprising. The trailer came out, and it's slated for DVD and video on demand March 11th. I was like, what?
That's
this came out of nowhere.
That's next week.
It's called Dark House.
Dark House. Is this the one with like the scarecrow on the cover? Or wasn't there a Dark House film that came out in 2009 with Jeffrey Combs?
I have no idea.
Moodz?
What is it? Oh yeah, Dark. Yeah, that was one of those Fangoria films.
Yeah.
Is this movie about like an all boys school or something?
Dude, that's not funny.
Oh, okay. I see the cover. $30 on Blu-ray. What the fuck?
So, Dark House, I watched the trailer, which I normally don't do now. I kind of made that my new rule, unless it's a film that I don't think I'll be interested in. And after Rosewood Lane, Victor Salva I thought Rosewood Lane was terrible. But anyway, this film is like very weird.
Yeah,
it's about somebody who inherits a house, but it's gone. Like it's not like, in the location because of a flood, and the flood like moved the house to a new location, but he still owns the house, so he I guess he still can go to it.
It says the description says when Nick DeSanto learns that his father is not only alive but could possibly reveal the origin of his son's dark gift, he sets out on a trip that takes him to an abandoned mansion he thought only existed in his childhood imagination.
Wow.
Yeah, the trailer it looked like it had some cool set pieces, though. I will say that,
Tobin Bell is in this?
Yeah.
Oh, sick! That's like his first movie since Saw. Or one of his first.
One movie that I watched. It was one of those Dimension Extreme films.
He was in Buried Alive, but he hasn't been in many movies since Saw. Huh.
Yeah, and honestly, he doesn't look that good in the trailer.
He's an old man, you know.
I don't know what that has to do with.
I think he's like 63 or something.
I didn't mean like.
Oh no! Saw 8 has been announced on IMDb. That is not good.
That happened a while ago.
I'm sorry, JP. That usually means that it's fucking actually gonna happen, and when they put it on IMDb.
No, it does not.
You know what,
There's
JP?
so many films on IMDb that have never happened.
Shut your mouth and keep going with the news.
Freddy vs. Jason 2 is still on IMDb.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to Victor Salva. piece of shit dude, but I kind of like some of his movies. And this one looks maybe worth looking into after a while when you could get it in like the $5 bin or something. After that,
$5? Ooh, that's a little too much for me. I'll have to
after
go. I'll have to go with $1.
Woodhouse Productions
Man, I'm on the
is
roll.
making a film called Almost Mercy, starring Bill Moseley / Kane Hodder.
Huh.
So that's cool, genre guys in a horror film. Always interested. Goosebumps. Good old classic old
R.L.
Goosebumps.
Stein?
Yeah.
Goosebumps.
Yeah.
It's now going to be a feature film. It's already has a date, March 23rd, 2016. Mark your calendars for
2016.
Goosebumps, guys.
What?
What
Wow.
the fuck?
That's a little far off.
It's going to be a theatrical release, starring Jack fucking Black, which is weird.
Jack Black? I could see that, though. I could see him.
Apparently,
Yikes.
Slappy the Dummy is going to be like one of the
Nice.
features. My
Nice.
personal favorite story in the Goosebumps series is like the Monster Blood stories.
Yep, me too. The monster blood, is that with like the slime coming to
Yeah,
life? Yeah,
yeah, I love
that's number 3. That's a good one. That's
Yeah.
my number 3. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. I love Goosebumps. I had all of them.
Yeah, I still have a ton of them somewhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's probably gonna obviously be a kids film, but I'd check it out.
Yeah.
After that, we have the Stand remake has a new director. That's
And who is this new director?
I don't know.
Gary Fukunaga?
Yeah. Oh man, the Stand remake. So is this gonna be a TV remake, or is this like?
I don't think so. I actually don't think so. I think this is actually going to be like a theatrical film.
So they're doing the same thing with it then.
I'm
They're
just
making these
picturing
TVs.
like World War Z.
Yeah.
There's fucking 176 Goosebumps books. That's insane.
I actually just watched the Stand original. I think there's definitely some room for improvement, but I don't have any faith in this project simply because I think they'll just. I just like I said, I see World War Z.
Pretty much.
After that, we have M. Night Shyamalan.
Ugh.
He's returning.
Let me get my toilet paper. 1 sec.
He's returning. Good. He's returning with a horror film called The Sundowning. Is anybody a fan of this guy?
Negative.
Sixth Sense. That's it.
Oh man, I think The Sixth Sense is one of the most overrated films ever made.
What was it on my list? What was it on my list? It was on my list.
Yeah,
doesn't mean it's not a good. Doesn't mean it's not a solid first trying.
I'm actually not a big fan of the movie, to be honest. I watched it in the theaters, and I've seen it since, and I don't know. I can't get into it, man.
Yeah,
I've never seen it.
I haven't really liked. I don't think I've actually ever really liked any of his movies.
Me
I thought The Village was shit.
Like The Sign is probably like such a cult classic. It's kind of crazy. I don't know why.
Well, okay. My opinion on this guy is that I actually kind of liked. When The Signs came out, I really liked it. That film doesn't hold up though. But there is still genuinely creepy fucking moments in it.
Oh, you're one of the Signs people.
Yeah,
you're telling me that there's not genuinely creepy moments in in Signs.
It's shit. Same with The Village.
The Village is pretty garbage, but
same with Lady in the Shit Water.
That movie. I remember trying to watch that movie, and I was like, "This is boring as hell."
It's fucking horrendous.
But this guy is one of those dudes that got like he was, the coolest thing when he was like, just coming up, and now it seems like everybody hates him.
He's got to be. He's so overrated to me, man. I don't even understand how he got such a
I don't even
huge
think
following.
He's overrated now, dude. I think
maybe not.
Everybody hates him now.
Well, maybe not anymore because he's had a string of really, unsuccessful films. But even when he was putting out like The Sixth Sense and whatever the fuck, Signs and all that shit back then, I don't know. I didn't think there was anything
So
special.
what is your problem with Signs? You don't think that it has moments?
No, it's probably my most liked film by him for sure. It's not like a fucking top shelf film for me though.
No, me
But
neither at all. I
no,
actually I don't even really like it that much. I just think
no, I
that
don't. I'm
there's
not a big.
certain scenes in that film that actually I remember seeing it, and the scene with the alien at the birthday party, little Mexican kid birthday party and stuff. Like
Yeah.
I actually thought that was really well like done, like
Mhm.
presented.
But that's the thing though, man. The film has moments, but overall, I try to judge things on overallness, and it's just it doesn't do it for me.
It has a terrible story. Like the idea that these aliens are so um they're like primal, but they like mastered space travel. Like they're animalistic almost. It's
Hmm.
silly.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, After that we have Megafoot. Megafoot is trying to be funded by Indiegogo. So
Megafoot.
do you remember when we did our end of the year show? Megafoot was announced for 2014, half Bigfoot, half fucking cyborg, all badass or something.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, it's trying to be funded by Indiegogo. So if you want to support Megafoot, it's out there to support the. It doesn't look like it's going to be a very successful campaign. I kind of want to see Megafoot, but I'm not really
I'm
want
not
to
gonna
see that.
lie. I'm not gonna lie. I really want to see that. That just sounds stupid fun. Sounds like stupid fun, man. I mean, really, like to be like Manborg. Hopefully,
Oh, I love Manborg.
I don't
Shit's
know.
so good.
This one sounds interesting. I gotta say, Bigfoot and fucking cyborg. I don't know.
Yeah.
Huh.
After that, The Conjuring 2 has a release date of October 23rd, 2015, with
Oh, okay.
no James Wan.
I was gonna say, if you're gonna say 2014, I was gonna shit my pants. Because if they were gonna go on the route of paranormal shitivity, I was gonna freak out.
Well, I don't get people's deal with that. I like that there's a new fucking paranormal activity every year. It keeps horror alive, man. Those series, that's what
Oh,
keeps like the
man.
mainstream.
Go hang out with Scotty. He loves those films too for some
I
fucking
don't
weird
love
ass
the
reason.
films, but like I like the idea that people get excited for horror. Like even if it is the mainstream, like it when people are like excited about
Garbage.
horror, it gets me excited. I don't care if it's
Yeah, but
garbage or not.
I don't get excited. I mean, I think it's okay. I think it's kind of cool that people, that if you dig those films, that's fine. I'm not going to hate on you. That's totally cool. But, I don't get excited over films that I don't get excited for, you know? So I don't really care that they're coming
Well,
out.
it's more about that you like. All right, there was a Saw. I didn't even watch the Saws towards the end, but there was
Mhm.
a Saw every year at
Yeah.
Halloween time, and it
Yeah,
kind
but
of
at least
fit with the
but
atmosphere.
at least it followed a plot. These are just
What are
fucking.
you talking about?
They
The
all follow.
paranormal activity films do follow a plot.
No, he's
No,
talking
they're
about
all over the fucking
they're kind of
place.
connected.
All the Saw movies are connected some way or another. The characters, they share the same characters, share the same themes. Paranormal
Continuity.
Activity, continuity.
Isn't
Continuity. That's what he's
parent
talking about.
what?
Paranormal Activity just shares the theme of there's a spooky thing knocking
Are
a
you
glass
serious?
over on a table and it's exploding.
The first two paranormal activities are like extremely connected.
But there's how many now? There's 61 of them, and
6.
I don't.
And number 7's getting made.
Fuck, man! I can't believe. Holy
I think
shit,
they
man!
signed on to.
Dude,
I think they signed on for like
5.
more. Yeah,
But are the other ones
and
in
they signed
connection with the first two?
I think the first 4 are all connected.
and they signed on for. I think I read that they signed on for 4 more.
I actually couldn't get past the first. Like,
Me neither.
I watched the first one, and I really didn't like it.
I
I thought
walked
it
out of the
was
first.
totally boring.
I kind of don't get. I like it. Just puzzles me that people think they're that bad.
I walked
They're
out.
not that bad at all.
Well, I mean, I was just bored. I can't help that I was bored. Like, you could really like slowing down shit, and like you could
Ooh.
tell when shit's gonna happen.
My
It
glass
fucking,
just fell off the table. I'm so
I don't think
scared.
it was good filmmaking
I'm
at
shaking
all.
in my boots.
I
I
just
thought
didn't find.
I actually the first paranormal activity to me, I think it's kind of almost like genius in a way.
Holy
Like
shit,
in the
man!
Did
way
you
of
just say
like the Blair
genius?
Witch.
Did you just say
Yeah, dude.
genius and paranormal?
Yeah. Do you like? How can you deny the guy made the movie on like a
Nine K.
$9,000 budget and
Yeah, Blood
just
Run
with
Cold's
non
made
actors and stuff, man? It's just I don't know.
Blood
It's
Run Cold made a 5K budget, and it was a fucking more entertaining movie than Paranormal Activity.
nowhere nearly as near as successful though.
I'm not okay because it had fucking Paramount behind
Yeah,
it. Fucking Blood Run
but we all
Cold.
know, but we all know that having a successful film doesn't mean it's good at all. I mean, we can all agree on that. Just because something is successful doesn't mean it's good.
Yeah, but when you take that something that indie and it blows up, I think that there has to be something behind it. I mean, it's not like you're putting, $200 million into like World War Z. Yeah, of course that's going to be successful because it has so much marketing behind it. But
Okay, same with fucking Lone Ranger, and that made about $8.75, and they fucking cost $240 million to make.
yeah, but the marketing was bad for that film. I don't
No, it was just a
know how
piece
that
of shit
is.
film, and people
I know what
knew it.
World War Z is. I know what Transformers is. I don't know what the Lone Ranger is. But no, like, back to Paranormal Activity, man. It's to me, it's like okay that you have to put yourself in the position. I mean, if you want like shit jumping out at you and stuff, I could see why it'd be a bit boring. But if you're actually like putting yourself in there, like it's just, I think the same. If you don't like stuff like the Blair Witch, you're not gonna like Paranormal Activity. They're interchangeable. It's the same damn thing. It really it's all
Garbage.
about just putting yourself in there. And I think it's genuinely scary, dude. The first Paranormal Activity, I really did enjoy it.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Everyone
I
has
mean,
their own opinions.
a lot of things come down to setting for me too. Like, yeah, you can totally put the Blair Witch Project and Paranormal Activity in the same bowl. You know what I'm saying? But at the same fucking time here, we got one movie taking place strictly in a house, right? And then we have the setting outside, like in the woods and shit. For me personally, I fucking love movies that take place in the woods and shit. It's just a better setting for me. It's more interesting to me. And I mean, Paranormal Activity just seems to me to be like another kind of, haunted house fucking kind of thing. I don't know. It just doesn't.
Like you said that you can see when things are going to happen. I totally thought the opposite because there's periods of time where nothing happens. Like you expect something to happen and actually nothing happens. There's just
Mhm.
footage of the camera staring straight at them. Um, I don't know. It just I can understand why people don't like it, but I seriously don't get the amount of hate. The amount of hate is just it's not
Yeah, but
that bad.
you got to remember there is people out there saying that they hate these films because it's almost cool to hate them, right? I mean,
That's what I think it mainly
but
is.
I'm not saying that all the movies are shit because I haven't fucking seen them. I admit that. I saw the first one. I didn't go past the first one because it didn't interest me enough to go on to the sequel. Right? I just was not. It wasn't a good time for me. I mean, if I had to take those two films, I would take the Blair Witch over that one any day because I like the
So
fucking.
would I.
I love the setting. I like the idea better, and it just kind of worked for me. But then again, the Blair Witch. I mean, I don't know. I saw that shit in the theater too, so it kind of holds like a little bit of a special place with me because when you see shit on the big screen, it's just you always remember it. Has more of a
My last thing I'll say on Paranormal Activity, I'm not defending the series so much, but my idea is that every year there's a Paranormal Activity coming out, which when I see that start happening, it reminds me of Halloween because that's when they come out, and it gets me. It's an early like vibe of Halloween. I
I
just
just go to
love
a
the
haunted
whole
house.
spirit of like people talking about like paranormal activity and stuff. Even though I'm not really that interested in it, it's just the vibe that I like. And second, I seen the first Paranormal Activity and I seen the second one. I didn't really care for the second one. I'm mainly talking about the first one that I liked, and I seen it with no hype at all. I completely just watched it without knowing anything, and I think that the hype is what killed it for so many people. Um, I think a lot of people that see it, like I did,
You know what?
appreciate the film
That might have
for what it is.
that might have even been a problem for me too because I didn't watch Paranormal Activity when it first came out, and everyone was talking about it, and that kind of off put me from watching it because I was just tired of fucking people watching it or talking about it. And then I finally got around to seeing it, and I'd heard so much about it, and I was like, really? That's
You're
it?
muted.
So yeah, it was a little overhyped for me too, which could have contributed to me not enjoying the film as much as I might have. But at the same time, I don't know. I did find it boring. So.
I'm definitely in the minority. Everybody in the horror community seems to fucking despise those films.
Apparently, except for Scotty,
yeah,
which is
Scotty
interesting.
loves them.
I'm going to talk to Scotty about that. I'm very intrigued
I've
that he likes those films.
I've tried. We got in many arguments about it.
It does not seem like the type of film that he would ever even consider liking. Very intriguing.
He likes all of them. It's kind of funny.
Huh.
I don't get it.
Very interesting. But
yeah.
So what do we got next here?
We've talked about Paranormal Activity a few times. I think we need to do a show on them one day.
You know what? I was just gonna say we should totally just. I mean, we could pick up all these movies for like $2 a piece. So
I already own them all, and
Me too.
and I still haven't watched them.
For real? I don't even own one of them, but I could get them. But,
Me too. Even though I think they're the biggest pieces of garbage I've ever seen in my life, I still own them.
Biggest pieces of garbage, dude. What have you been watching? Like, have you not seen like any bad movie ever? Biggest piece of garbage?
Yeah, these
it's
movies
crazy
right
to
here.
me.
These movies right here.
Everybody's allowed to have their opinion, but I just find it funny that that's the biggest piece of trash you've seen.
Mainstream trash.
It's
They're worse than the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. Ooh, I just went there.
What is this? What are you even saying?
I'm just busting your balls because it's making you go crazy. It's funny.
It is funny. I don't know.
Maybe I'll break down.
I expect
I'll pick
to
up
get
these
some
films
hate.
and I'll watch them all. I'll do a marathon and I'll.
Moodz, when you come here in
after.
April, we're gonna watch them all, and then we're gonna report back on the next week's podcast and tell us what we think about them.
No, I don't want my memories of Chicago being Paranormal Activity fucking marathon.
Yeah, but we're gonna watch Salo, so it's gonna be like, oh Jesus.
Awesome.
All right.
So what the fuck was I even saying about Paranormal Activity?
I don't know. You're the one who's got the paper in front of you.
Yeah.
I lost my spot.
I'm just trying to have a good time.
Oh, so the Paranormal Activity, the marked ones, comes out March 16th on DVD. That's like the spin-off that I guess doesn't have a whole lot to do with the original series.
Huh.
After that, Eli Roth is going to work on another horror film, which is great news in my opinion. I still haven't seen The Green Inferno, but he's working on Knock Knock. It's called. It's an original screenplay that he co-wrote, and he's going to be writing and directing. Now,
well, at least it's an original, screenplay because the name Knock Knock is not original. There's already a fucking movie called Knock Knock.
Is that the one with like the eye like staring through the door or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny that it's called Knock Knock.
But I think that there's like a film named everything now, so.
I don't know about that. But you know what? Eli Roth? Fucking screw Knock Knock and make Thanksgiving. Where the fuck is Thanksgiving? Where is that movie? He's announcing other movies, and where's Thanksgiving? I thought he actually said he wanted to do that film.
That's what's funny is he still is saying that he's doing that film. Like, he still, like, brings it up every now and then. He's like, oh, yeah, I still plan on doing, I think it's like a joke now.
I think Eli Roth is the biggest procrastinator ever. Like, just do the fucking movie, man. Like, come on, just make us happy.
Holy shit.
Anyway,
Ellen DeGeneres posted a picture of her at the Oscars, and it crashed Twitter, and it has 2.1 million retweets. It's kind of like...
That's ridiculous.
I was just 2.1 million retweets. That's like... Anyway, JP. Man, I'm on a roll tonight. I'm fucking just going at it. I usually don't talk this much.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that too.
I'm usually very quiet.
Maybe Jeremy had a 6-pack of those cocaine energy drinks.
Yeah, bouncing off the walls.
Okay, so Eli Roth, I think I like Eli. I'm a fan. I loved Cabin Fever. Got me right back into horror back in that era. Hostel, really good. Hostel 2 has grown on me, and I like his acting too. Like I actually think he plays funny characters and stuff. I like when he's I still want to see Aftershock, which I guess he's like a main star in that.
Yeah, he produced it. He didn't direct it or anything.
No, but isn't he? He's in it though. He's like
Yeah,
a
yeah,
main
he's in it.
actor
Yeah.
or something, like a starring role. So but this Knock Knock movie, I mean, he got Green Inferno coming out, which that you know that looks really cool to me. You know, can't like Cannibal Holocaust done by Eli Roth type thing.
I'm
Sounds
actually
like
really excited
perfect.
for it, man.
Yeah,
I'm
so
really
it's
excited
like
for
my
it.
number one film that I'm looking forward to of this year. But Knock Knock. So um, I guess it's going to be like a kind of a under $10 million budget film, but it's about two young girls who randomly show up at a guy's house, knock knock, a married man, seduce him, and then like fuck up his life entirely. And now imagine that done by Eli Roth. You're guaranteed to see some crazy shit. You know what I mean?
Huh. That doesn't sound too bad.
Not too bad at all.
So,
I'm
but you know
interested.
what? It doesn't sound as good to me as Thanksgiving though.
Yeah, I know.
It's just so disappointing, man. Like I'll never forget, man, watching those fucking trailers and going, I want that movie to be made right now. That was the one that stuck out the most, in my opinion.
Not even the She-Wolves of the SSS.
That was pretty cool, but honestly, but it was Thanksgiving. It was that voice. It was that Thanksgiving. You know, like every 10 seconds, and it's so fucking.
What was the other one with the haunted house?
I don't even.
Don't.
Don't.
Is that
Yeah.
what it was?
Yeah,
Don't
don't.
open.
because of how
Don't
many
open the door.
titles there
Don't
was, like,
close.
in the 70s, like "Don't Go in the Woods" and shit like
So,
that.
so they
So many
just name it.
titles with "Don't."
So they just name it
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah.
That's fucking
I
awesome.
remember
Don't open the
watching
door. Don't.
I
Yeah.
remember
Oh yeah.
watching those fake trailers way before I even seen Grindhouse, and at the time I didn't even get that one. I was like, that one just looks stupid, but it's a joke,
Yeah,
It's
it's an
I didn't get it at the time
I
though.
think Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg directed it. Directed that one.
So I don't know if we reported this, and I don't have it wrote down, but it kind of this next piece of news reminded me of it. Rob Zombie was supposed to be doing some kind of like sports movie or something. I can't even remember. Um, and he put that on hold because he got an interesting idea that he just like randomly thought of, and he's going to be doing another horror film.
Well,
I don't.
that's good.
Did we talk about this?
I don't think
I
we
don't
did.
remember.
And the sports film was what? It was like a hockey film or something, or what was he doing?
That's what I wanted to say, but I might
No,
be
I
getting
think
confused with Kevin Smith.
Kevin Smith's doing the hockey film.
That's right. That's right. I'm getting them all
Well,
fucked
Kevin
up.
Smith's not doing a hockey film. I think he said
Well,
that he cannot get a budget for his epic 2-part hockey film or something.
It's not going to be a 2-part hockey film. It's going to be a TV series.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jason
so,
Mewes gave him that idea, by the way.
to do a hockey film?
No, to do a TV miniseries.
Oh. But so Rob Zombie, a new horror film, that's always good. But from what it's kind of the article gave me a bad vibe because he was basically saying how like he's like so like out of tune with horror and out of touch with it that like if he was gonna watch a movie, the last thing it would be a horror film. Like, and it kind of just I was like, really, dude, you're like supposed to be like a huge ass fan. All your films are like homages of like the horror films you like. So
well,
I don't know,
considering
man. I think he's getting tired of all the like backlash that he's received over the years, and he's just like,
is that the same article? Is that the
Yeah.
same article that he was going on about House Thousand Corpses and how he doesn't even like the film?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, because I was reading this article not too long ago, and he was going on about House of Thousand Corpses and how much he doesn't like the film. He can't watch it because when he watches the film, he picks out too many things that it's just not good, flaws and shit, and he just was basically ripping on his own film. And I was like, wow, Rob Zombie fucking woke up on the wrong side of the bed and did this interview. It's fucking. It was really weird. Like it was really real.
Yeah, I got a weird vibe from this article too. He was going on to say about like how he didn't want to do any more horror films, but he got an idea for one. So now he couldn't get funding for his other film, and he instantly thought of this idea and just pitched it as a 1-sentence thing and instantly got funding for it. So
He had some sand in his vagina.
It's just so fucking hard to get away from horror for Rob Zombie when your fucking name has zombie in it.
yeah, but
Like, you're not going anywhere, dude.
I
I
would
mean,
like to do maybe, a double feature coverage of House of a Thousand and Devil's Rejects, because I actually kind of agree with what he was saying about House of a Thousand. I think it has tons of problems, and I think people
oh,
hold it way higher than it deserves to be.
I totally agree. It does have lots of problems, but I absolutely love that film. I think it's
You know my opinion on that film. I think it's one of the best films of this
And that's why I want
generation.
to talk about it, because I
see,
want to debate that with you.
I totally agree that it does have problems, but for some weird reason, I get
It's
enjoyment
so
out of it
good.
every time I watch
Oh,
it. I like the
I love it.
characters.
I
It's the
love it.
characters that keep me intrigued through the whole
No,
film, and it's just
I mean, I love the film, but I just, it's, I, we'll come to it eventually, I guess.
we'll get to that. Yeah,
Um,
Pod, that's going to be episode 71 right there. We're
yeah,
just planning ahead. So
yeah, we got so much stuff we want to do. It's like insane.
I will never
Um,
run out of ideas. Well, we already have episode 71 planned, so that's a
yeah.
good start.
So Rob Zombie is is working on a TV project based on Charles Manson. Seems like something he would do. Doesn't surprise me.
That makes
Um,
sense.
you know, I like. I wish I wouldn't have read these articles because it kind of gave me like a little bad taste with Rob Zombie. But I was like really high on Rob Zombie last year because of Lords of Salem, and now I'm kind of like thinking like, what's up with this man?
But you know what, man? I wouldn't take everything to heart that you read on there too. It could be written differently than he worded it. Who knows?
That is true.
Articles are so misleading sometimes. Like just because the person, say you do an interview with someone and they go and write the article, you change the
Yeah.
words around, it doesn't come off the same. You need to really fully understand Rob Zombie. I think you'd want to hear it right from his mouth, like in a video interview,
Did
rather than
you
reading
ever hear
something.
an interview with him back in like 2003 after he did House of a Thousand, where he said they asked him, he said that he was approached to do a Texas Chainsaw remake or something, and
Yeah.
he absolutely blasted the idea of remakes and said like how fucking stupid and pathetic it is.
But
And
then he made House of a Thousand Corpse, which is a Texas Chainsaw ripoff.
this was after he made House of a Thousand.
I know,
But
but
the
it's
thing
like
is,
he made a ripoff of Texas Chainsaw.
but he
Yeah,
was
but
more talking about remakes, and
yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's different. But then he remade Halloween. That's the funny thing.
Did he really remake it?
What do you mean?
I think it's a
Of course he
reboot.
did.
I think it's a reboot.
What the fuck? This whole reboot, remake, reimagining thing, it's all the same, dude. It's like there's slight, minute details difference, but it means the same thing
I think the
almost.
first half is totally different than anything that John Carpenter had in his film.
It's still a remake. You're
What makes it a
remaking an
remake?
idea.
Well, it's still taking the original story. I mean, all the elements of the
You're
original story
remaking
are
the
there.
film.
He
You're
basically just
remaking
put
a
his own
film called
twist.
Halloween.
The first hour of the film is, the backstory, showing that backstory. So, I mean, those elements are there in the original film, but, it's just not talked about.
Yeah, look at
Shown,
the
right?
he
So,
got.
but I don't know.
Okay,
That
so
that that's an entire show in itself. I mean, this
So
has
you
been
think
talked to
Halloween
death.
2 is a remake?
Well, Halloween 2
no,
technically
it's a sequel to a remake.
But
it
it
has
shares the
elements,
Halloween 2 name.
but it also shares the whole hospital thing, with the original Halloween 2, and
I mean, but
it has elements.
I guess
it's
so.
oh man, we could get into that for
I'm
days.
just busting your
So
balls, JP. You gotta know that. I'm just busting your balls.
now on to the DVD.
I'm
This
just
is
busting
taking
your balls.
forever, dude. I told you this news was gonna last like days.
Good, give the people a long show. We missed 3 weeks.
Severin Films is releasing Patrick, Dead Kids, and Thirst on Blu-ray March 11th. Plus this trailer compilation of Ozploitation films.
Yep.
That's cool, right? I mean,
It's all Synapse titles.
which me and Jeremy both got some of those for super cheap, like
Dollars.
$1.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a crazy deal, man. Jesus.
Chew to the rescue.
After that, Monsters, the complete series, is up for pre-order. It comes out February 25th. Or wait.
Too late, JP.
That's why,
It's already out.
yeah.
Pick it up.
that was news from a couple weeks ago, guys, that is somewhere in space and time. Suggested retail price is $89.99. I'll wait till it drops for sure. 9-disc set, 72 episodes. Dude, Monsters was a pretty cool show. I seen a couple episodes of it when it re-aired on Chiller or something. It's much like all of those '80s anthology.
And according to Amazon, it's out of print.
Already?
It says temporary out of stock.
Oh, people must have been ordering the fuck out of it.
I guess so.
Moodz, you have this pre-ordered, correct?
We just lost Moodz.
Okay. Try to get him back in here.
I am. Keep going.
Have you seen Monsters, Jeremy?
I have not. What channel was it on back in the day?
Oh, dude, I don't even think I was alive.
When did it come out? 19...
It might have been the 90s, actually. I don't know. I want to say it was like late 80s.
Late 80s.
But I'm not sure.
Mr. Moodz, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back, apparently.
Did you hear me about Monsters? I was already out of print.
What?
It's out of stock on Amazon.
Which just means it's out of stock.
Which probably that's usually not a good sign.
Wow, man, that's actually selling really good.
That's a great sign. What are you talking about?
If it's out of stock, that means that it probably not. Have you guys seen anybody show it off?
No,
it
I
just
actually
came
haven't.
out.
Yeah, it came out, but if it's out of stock, that might mean that it got pushed back, and Amazon is just.
I think they probably didn't order enough copies of it because they didn't think people was going to pay $89.99 for it.
Yeah, and that was a weird thing because Amazon.ca had it for $69.99. That was pretty random.
Is it out of stock on Amazon.ca?
I haven't checked actually, but I thought that was actually very interesting because that never happens. Everything's always cheaper on .com than it is on .ca. So
I find it interesting that I'm the only one out of us three that's familiar with this series at all.
It says it comes out on March 18th on Amazon.ca.
Yeah.
You know what? It might have actually got pushed back. It's quite possible.
It could have. Yeah.
And I just missed it in the news. So after that, we have not a trilogy, but a quadrilogy of Scream Factory titles here. Monkey's Paw, which is one that I remember talking about like half a year ago or something when it was the trailer was released or something. I did a news video on it.
Moodz is gone again. Keep going.
And I watched the trailer and I thought it looked really interesting, and it was going to debut on the Chiller channel, so I instantly thought Scream Factory, that would be a great title for Scream Factory to pick up. And they did, so that's really cool. The Monkey's Paw story is a classic tale. It doesn't get old to me. Be careful what you wish for type stuff. I like it, and I'm really interested in checking out this film.
Yeah, that's totally awesome. That's getting released, man. I'm stoked on that.
Yeah, Monkey's Paw is one I'm definitely looking forward to. It's probably out of their contemporary titles, I think it's the one that I've been the most excited for.
Yeah.
Then we get an announcement on Dread Central Live. I'm gonna keep plugging that show because it's actually pretty cool. A lot of breaking news happens there. Dread Central, they do this video cast thing live, and they had a Scream Factory employees, I guess, I don't know what they were, there, and they broke the news of Legend of Hell House and Motel Hell on that show. So that's also the show that broke probably the best news of the year with VampireCon. So,
fucking right.
So yeah, definitely check out Dread Central Live, man.
Can't be worse than Rumpelstiltskin, from what I've heard.
Well, that guy did Rumpelstiltskin.
I know, and I heard it's just absolutely asshole. So.
It is. I remember renting it when I was a kid at the local video store like 10 times. For some reason, I kept renting it. It sucked every time. Did you ever do that though? Did you ever do that? Like the cover or something like kept intriguing you, and he's like, maybe
this time will be better.
This time, yeah.
Mark Jones. Mark Jones.
So yeah, Legend of Hell House I'm completely unfamiliar with.
It's a great movie, man. Really good.
Motel Hell, I own that double feature with Deranged.
Yeah.
I figured Motel Hell would get picked up by them. I think everybody kind of thought that one. Everybody was like asking for it.
Yeah.
I even thought it was going to get picked up by Scream Factory, and not even 2 fucking days after I got my Arrow Blu-ray in the mail, they announced it. I was like, "Yep, awesome." Get to
That's
double
why I
dip.
don't
Kind of
buy
sucks it's in a
Arrow.
double pack and not in a fucking.
Wait, what?
I think Motel Hell and Legend of Hell, Motel Hell
No,
and
no, no, no,
Legend of
dude.
Hell.
I think Motel Hell's getting collector's edition, man.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I don't
I'm
think it's
not
coming.
sure.
I don't
It's
think it's
not.
in a
They're
double
not gonna
pack.
put Motel Hell in a double pack. That's one of the most requested titles, dude. They're gonna collector's edition that shit.
Oh,
They just
man.
announced them at the same time, which made it look like a collector's double pack thing or whatever.
All right.
But Motel Hell, I'm actually not the biggest fan of that film. I like it, but I think it was overhyped when I finally seen it.
JP, you're killing me here, man. Not the
Kill-
biggest fan of Motel Hell. He's
Killing
loving
me,
Paranormal
Smalls.
Activity. Oh man, I don't know, dude. I don't know. Just busting your balls, man. You know, it's actually kind of interesting. I've heard a lot of people recently say that they're not the biggest fan of Motel Hell. When
I
all I
know,
heard
dude.
years
Why
ago
do people
say,
copy me so much?
well, the weird thing is that I kept hearing for years, how much people love the movie. It was always one of those real sought out kind of things, and now it's all of a sudden it's like, not really the biggest fan. Like what? I think it's a fun movie, man. I really like the idea.
No, it is. I like it. I'm just saying. I going into it, I was expecting something different. I think, and they like comedy kind of threw me for a weird turn. I guess.
But you gotta admit though, man, like the bodies being in the garden like
I
that,
love the idea. I almost wish it would have been,
so
been
cool.
like, I don't know. It's a good one. I'm excited for it.
Who's in that movie? John Ratzenberger from fucking Cheers.
I
He's
don't
in
know
that.
who that is.
He's like a young dude. Cliff.
I've never watched Cheers, dude.
Jesus, fucking killing me over here, man.
That show was made like when was that show made?
It was
just
on
remem-
through
I
the
just
80s.
I just remember the fucking Night in the Roxbury when they're playing Cheers on the piano.
Man, I loved that was a good show. Anyways,
And the final Scream Factory announcement was Lords of Illusion, which is definitely one that people have also been requesting. That's a Clive Barker film, which I've not seen. I'm definitely excited for that.
It's good.
and I believe it stars Scott Bakula. I think he's in that film, if my memory serves me correctly. Lords of Illusion, it's a good movie, man. It's not my favorite in the world, but I think
It's
I'm curious-
long.
I'm curious to see the special features on it. So, if they do a good job with that.
Yeah, that one actually did get announced when it's going to be released. It's going to be in the fall. So the other two, not sure on.
I bet
you will be before Nightbreed. I could tell you that.
I'm really stoked
Yeah.
for Legend of Hell House, though, man. I think you'd really enjoy that film, man. It's a great, paranormal investigative
Does
film.
it have a DVD release?
Yeah, I have it. It's a great film.
Who released it? Anchor Bay?
Nope. I think it's like a pretty low budget company, but
Oh, cool.
Transfer's not bad though. It's actually pretty good. But I think JP you'd really like it.
Ooh, I'm so glad you reminded me about. I don't know how, but I just remembered also. This is kind of not like official news, but it's not an announcement, but it's a hint at. And in the comments of one of the posts on Scream Factory's Facebook page, they actually said that they are working on another all night marathon, Volume 3. So that I love that. Thank God
Yeah,
they're
me
doing
too.
that.
You know what? That just
Gave you a hard on?
That just springs me forward right there. Man, I can't wait for the titles when they announce the titles. I'm just super stoked for that. I was a big fan. Both volumes so far have been really good. I think the only film out of the 8 that were released so far that I didn't really care for that much was Godsent. I actually wasn't a big fan of it. So.
I just love
I've
the
actually still
catacombs,
not
how the
picked them up.
fucking... I love the killer in Catacombs look like Klaus Kinsinski. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Because it's a David Schwimmer film, and he directed Crawl Space with Klaus Kinsinski, and Klaus Kinsinski is known to being a total fucking asshole on the set, like being like the worst person to work on set. And there was even a rumor going around that the director of Crawl Space, David something, was actually going to kill Klaus Kinsinski for the insurance money because everybody thought he was such a douchebag. So when he made Catacombs, he made him look like exactly like Klaus Kinski. It's fucking hilarious.
I've always heard people say that Klaus Kinski.
Whatever,
is
you know what the fuck I'm
douchebag.
talking about, JP. You fucking asshole. Always gotta bust my balls.
I've at least corrected you on Klaus Kinski like 7 times.
Yep, but I'm gonna call him Kalinski.
I think there's
anyway.
been lots of reports about, him just being a total douche on lots of sets and stuff.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. So I think that guy was really hard to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nurse 3D is coming out on Blu-ray and DVD.
Nurse 3D.
Yeah, I've heard this one actually getting some positive reviews.
It had a theatrical release here, but I didn't get to see it because I thought it looked fucking stupid.
It actually sounds like a porno.
Yeah.
Nurse 3D.
Well, the poster has a naked nurse covered in blood. So
I'm gonna see if it's still playing. Cause
you can have porno with lots of blood. I mean,
well, I'm just saying, like it makes sense.
just watch Edward Penis Hands
Cabin
or
Cabin
Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuism.
Sorry.
Cabin Fever Patient Zero is got distributed. What the fuck?
Another sip of the energy drink.
Done.
Distribution.
Yes.
The first consensus I've heard on that one is it's complete shit.
Well, it's coming out in the summer of 2014, video on demand and theatrical. No word on a DVD release.
Fuck, I'll just import it if I want to watch that garbage.
So who the fuck is... Yeah, because I saw a couple of people say they saw it, and I was like, where'd they see that shit? But
after that, Mill Creek is releasing all of the Gamera films on Blu-ray and DVD, I think.
Hey, Mill Creek, can I give you a fucking word of advice? Can you please release Hellraiser 3 and 5 on individual Blu-ray releases so I can complete my collection and not look like a fucking idiot? Thank you. That is all.
Yeah, because, Hellraiser 5, just gotta have that on Blu-ray. Can't live without that one.
Well, I'm a completionist.
Wait, Hellraiser 5 is on Blu-ray.
No, it's in a double pack. And if you know me, JP, and you watch my videos, you know I don't like double packs.
Man, I can't believe that Part 3
isn't on Blu-ray.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Man, how does Part 3 not have a Blu-ray release? That just
yeah,
blows my mind.
Like that one kind of is weird to me, but
right here. Right here. Hellraiser 6.
No, I mean Deader, Hellraiser 7.
1 sec.
Or 8.
No, he's got. I think that's got Blu-ray release.
Okay.
But yeah, it's fucking weird, man. I can't believe Part 3. I don't know.
Right there,
dude, those films are a tough fucking sit through, man. All those
they really are, man. They really are.
We should
Hellraiser's franchise is it is.
There it is, JP. Hellraiser 7 on individual release.
We'll make sure that we do the Hellraiser series on episode 99 or something like that.
Okay, that's
way down the road.
Hellraiser 3 and 5 are the only ones not out there.
But Hellraiser 3, does that even have a multi-pack release?
Nope. It has an international, it has a UK Steelbook release with number 1, 2, and 3. I think it has an Asian release too, but it does not have a US release yet. And Mill Creek has this distribution, so I don't know what the
see?
I don't know what the fuck they're waiting for.
Guys, I'm the one
trouble with that one, man.
I'm the one drinking beer, and I can say distribution fine.
Fuck you, Moodz.
Yeah, fuck off, dude. After that, we have After Dark Horror Fest Series 2 release number 7, Mischief Night, is hitting DVD video on demand May 20th.
Alright, there's an Italian release of Hellraiser 3 on Blu-ray. You get it on Amazon Spain for €10 if anybody wants.
Finally, for the news, Contracted. It's an IFC film.
It's so
midnight,
good.
about like an STD or something. It sounds super fucking cool, dude.
It's fucking nasty. I watched it on demand. It's fucking
That's awesome.
nasty. It's fucking
March
Contracted
18th when it comes out. Yeah.
Contracted, and it's about catching STDs.
It's fucking awesome,
brilliant.
dudes. You have to watch it.
Yeah, it sounds
awesome.
That is it for the fucking news, dude. We're never skipping 3 weeks in a row again.
That wasn't too long. It was only an hour and 9 minutes.
It felt like I never was done talking.
That definitely was a lot of news, I gotta say. So
actually, we had questions that we were supposed to answer from our viewers 3 weeks ago, and we didn't. We answered half of them, and that's right when we stopped. Because the recording. So the first question is from Spooky Rotten Fun.
Oh wait, this one isn't recording either. I'm just fucking with you.
Not cool, man.
While you guys answer this, because I'll just answer it really quickly. What classic monster films do you like more, Universal or Hammer, and also Hammer or Amicus? I'm unfamiliar with all of them, so mine answers none right now. But you guys answer this while I go take a piss.
Universal and Hammer, just they're both brilliant. I think what it came down to, like, I love Hammer films, but I can't stray away from Universal monster films. Like, I fucking love them so much. Like,
I love them too.
I love the original Frankenstein films so much.
We were talking about like the sequels when we got cut off, and how fucking awesome Bela Lugosi is in the two the two sequels of Frankenstein with Lon Chaney Jr. with Bela Lugosi are fucking awesome too.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm a Universal guy. Hammer's not bad. I haven't seen too many Hammer films. I'll have to definitely watch them, but
the thing I like about Universal and Hammer, comparison is that they're so different. Like, Hammer films have a lot more dark, kind of gothic feel to them, which just it appeals to like a totally different crowd. Universal a little more, I don't know, it's
old
just
school.
Different. Yeah, it's just a little more old school feeling, But I don't nothing to take away. I can't take anything away from Hammer. Hammer is just brilliant.
And I haven't seen any Amicus films, so I can't.
There's so many good Hammer films even to name, but yeah, you know what? If I had to choose, I would go with Universal. But so, what was the other question? It was Amicus or
Hammer, and I've never seen any Amicus films. So
Amicus. See now, man, I don't know what I said before, but Amicus to me is so brilliant because they're really known for their, their 60s and early 70s.
Are you having a fucking another one, JP?
I got 8 of them.
Oh my fucking god, you're gonna die.
Yep, I know.
So with Amicus films, everybody knows me as being a huge anthology freak, and that's what they're known for. They did Tales from the Crypt. They did Tales from the Crypt, and Fall to Horror and stuff like that, and etc. There's so many.
Did they do From Beyond the Grave?
Yeah, they did From Beyond the Grave. They did a film that I reviewed on the old review channel called Asylum. I won't mention the name, but they did Asylum, and there's a bunch of other ones. There's like about 8 or 9 really. He
shall not
famous.
Be named.
So, Amicus, I give them big props. It's too bad they weren't around for longer. I believe their last. I don't know when they stopped making films. I think it was like the late 70s or something. But Amicus, fantastic. I would highly recommend it. Just go on the Wikipedia page. They got a list of all their films, and they're pretty much like all fucking. They're like pretty much all anthology films. Set in the mood, JP, or what? Lighting some incense or candles?
Incense.
Awesome. Okay.
Monster and incense. Nothing goes perfect.
So what was the next question, JP?
Okay, I'll start this question off because I pretty much answered it last time. Zach wants to know who would win in a straight up fight between Victor Crowley versus Jason Voorhees with no weapons. And the answer is Jason Voorhees, because they're essentially the same character. They are slightly different, played by Kane Hodder, but they're kind of just the same thing, And Jason just has more experience. He got some. He would win in the boxing match. We've seen him box on the roof. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he knocked somebody's head fucking off. I hope so. He could box.
Now Victor Crowley has ripped, a
arms
jaw
off.
in half
And arms.
But Jason has done all that stuff, man. I mean, Jason would just look. I like Victor Crowley, but Jason all day.
Yep, I'll go.
I actually agree too. I got to go with Jason. On this. Even if you can't get away from Jason. No matter how fast you're running, he always catches up to you with that slick walk that he's got there. So if Victor Crowley tried to get away from him, he's going to catch up. He's going to tune his ass. I think Jason. I'm going to go with Jason.
Jason.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
you're not going to fucking kick his head off like Busta Rhymes did. So Or what did Busta Rhymes do? Throw him through a window?
Dude, every time somebody reminds me of that, I'm just like, what the fuck? How did that even happen?
I haven't seen Shit Erection in a little while, so.
Oh fuck, that movie's so bad. I don't even want to talk about that shit.
It's
Horrible.
literally out of the big three, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Halloween. That's the worst out of all the films combined. In my, I would take the Nightmare on Elm Street remake over Halloween Resurrection.
Yeah. Okay, let's not go too far here.
Yeah. I could take that over Paranormal Shitivity, but Resurrection.
Okay, so the third and final question was from Martin VP, which actually I forgot to cover this too. I meant to do this at the beginning of the show, but the prize, the House of the Devil prize that happened weeks ago. Martin VP's from Belgium, and he pretty much insisted on me not sending him, a $5 DVD. The shipping would be more than what the prize was worth, which is super, cool of him, because I honestly didn't feel like shipping it because I don't go to the post office. I send my grandmother to ship out my stuff, which she probably would get confused on how to ship stuff not in the U.S. and stuff.
Better than Bosnia.
The second person that would have won the contest, the person that came in second place, was David. So, David, hit me up with your address if you want this House of the Devil DVD.
I'll send your I Spit on the Grave 2, David, out too, because I owe you a copy of that. So, I'll give you his address, JP.
Okay, and Martin VP wants to know, can a horror film go too far to shock or scare us? Where do you draw the line, and which films went too far?
Sallow, 120 Days to Sodom. Enough said.
Sodom.
Oh my god, JP, you're fucking just taking out my balls and just sucking them and ripping them off today, man.
I think it's all on personal preference, though. Like,
I can't stand shit
This
eating.
is an interesting. I thought this question was super interesting.
I think it's all personal preference, though. Like, I mean, because certain things bother, certain people.
There's two things that really bother me. I can't stand people eating shit, and I can't stand broken bones with bones penetrating the skin. Like, those are the two things that just fucking bother me to all hell.
But yeah, that's the shit that makes you cringe. But like, as for can a film go too far? I guess it probably could, depending on what you like and what you don't like, right?
Now, Moodz, do you think that video you watched of that lady blowing that dog went too far?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But okay. Here's a prime example. I don't know if you probably haven't seen this film, but there's a film called Cannibal Campout. Anyways, it's a shot on video film from the.
Is that a Black a Mile, JP?
I have seen that.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways,
what is it?
It's called Cannibal Campout. It's released by Camp Motion Pictures. I don't know. I just thought of this one because I remember the first time I watched it years ago, and I was like, "What the fuck?" The ending is so. I think it did go a little bit far. I mean, I don't really want to ruin it, but it does involve like a fetus getting ripped out of this, out of the stomach, and it's just like it's kind of unneeded. It doesn't really need to be there, but that's the type of thing I could see people going. They went a little too far in the film. They probably didn't need to do that because it is kind of disturbing. The idea of like killing a fucking baby like that, like it was actually like a baby ripped out of her. But certain things like that. But to me, I thought after I thought about it, I was like, yeah. But it's still a film.
Don't watch the movie Fetus then.
No, it doesn't bother me though. Like, I mean, it's just. But that's the type of thing I could see people going, yeah, that's probably too far.
That's a really good low budget film, by the way. Fetus is good.
My opinion on this is, all right, I'll answer it in order. Can a horror film go too far to shock or scare us? And I say yes, and I think when it goes too far is if it does something illegal. Other than that, it cannot go too far, in my opinion.
Oh, great. Now you're going to be talking about fucking Cannibal Holocaust.
Well, that was at a different time, and it probably did go... I've never actually seen it.
But
I know about the animal killings
what the film is about.
And stuff. Yeah, that's a little too far. But it's also at a different time where that shit wasn't... that shit was not as, like, illegal as now.
But he still got in trouble for doing it.
But so yeah, if you have some sort of underage stuff going on in there or actual physical harm or anything like that, that's a little too far. Other than that, I don't think it can go too far. I think that films should push boundaries, and I don't think there should be any type of censorship
I think the
as long as
Slaughter
nothing illegal is
trilogy.
happening.
The Slaughter trilogy is one that we should discuss. Moods, have you seen the Slaughter trilogy?
Like,
Where do
are we talking about
Slaughter Dolls Massacre and
well,
fucking Vomit Dolls and
the Lucifer Valentine trilogy?
yeah.
Yeah, I have the movies. Yeah.
Think those movies gone too
So-
far?
You know, it doesn't. I mean, there's some really nasty shit in those, but I mean, to be honest, man, I think August Underground's Boredom is worse than all those films. To be
Yeah.
honest, but
I haven't seen that one.
but that's. I mean, the August Underground films they're fucking disturbing, man. But they're films, and that's just the way I look at things. I guess what JP said, if you take shit on an illegal kind of thing, you know, angle, yeah, I think that's going too far. But at the end of the day, we're watching fucking movies, man. I don't think, you know, theoretically it's going too far, but there is things that are going to bother people, and it's all personal preference, right? Like I said.
well, that
I mean,
was the.
I mean, I've heard people say that Inside is just fucking brutal. And, you know, maybe some people might think it's going a little bit too far. But
I love that film.
to me, I don't think it is. I think it's just a really fucking gory, extreme type.
Too bad we can't talk about it because
Kind of
JP
story.
doesn't want to pay $10 to buy the DVD. Thanks,
But-
JP.
It's not what I said at all.
JP, I'm busting
I
your
couldn't
balls.
get it in such short notice. But
Busting your balls.
so the second part of the question was, where do you draw the line? And this is, like you said, it's personal preference. And to me, I draw the line at pointless violence, and not pointless violence, but pointless shocking stuff. Like, for example, I don't like the August Underground films. I've only seen the first one, and I just thought it was kind of just scene after scene of. I liked some of the gore effects, but that was it. It was just scene after scene of just pointless shocking type stuff. It just was uninteresting to me.
But that was literally the point of it, though. It's supposed to be just kind of. It's just random shit kind of all put together. That was literally the point of it.
I know that was the point, but just because that was the point doesn't necessarily make it, worth doing. You know, I'm willing to give them another shot. This was a couple years ago when I first seen
definitely watch Mortem. It might change your opinion on it. It's pretty fucking wild, man.
So that's kind of where I draw the line. I haven't watched a Serbian film because I just from the stuff that I've heard, that would probably cross my line. And which films went too far, that I answered that one. I kind of the only one that I think kind of pushed my boundaries to where it was almost going too far. Nothing has went completely too far where I had to shut it off yet, but you know, the August Underground film and Necromantic. I didn't like the rabbit death.
Interesting. Can you get that movie on DVD?
I watched it online.
I know it's a pretty rare VHS to get. So same with
but the quality was kind of going too far too. So
yeah.
I was watching it online. It was like shoddy quality, so it kind of made me. I don't know. I kind of don't like seeing animals die.
Well, that's honestly the one and only thing for me personally that kind of bugs me in films.
Yeah.
Is animal cruelty or in the real deaths and stuff. You know, when I watch Cannibal Holocaust, I've seen it a bunch of times. It doesn't bother me as much now, but at the same time, there is parts like even in Cannibal Ferox and there's these real animal deaths that don't even need to be in the film though. They're just kind of there, and
Well, that was definitely the case in Necromantic, right, with the rabbit.
Yeah.
Totally didn't need to be
totally
there.
the same shit. It's totally, and that's strictly for shock value and stuff.
Yeah.
But I guess that's where I would draw the line. I mean, you don't need to be killing animals for real in films because obviously you guys know I'm a huge animal lover, and I think we all are. And it's just unnecessary. I don't fucking dig that shit at all. But so I guess there is a line, So.
Yeah, I think it comes back to what I said. It's when it becomes illegal. That's the line. If you're doing something that's wrong legally, killing animals, I'm pretty sure is illegal if you're killing film.
When Cannibal Holocaust was done in 1980 in Italy, there probably wasn't even laws against that. You could probably just take that.
There was definitely no PETA back then.
Yeah, I think it was a lot different back then, but people still frowned upon it, obviously. But yeah, there was no organization going to come right after him. It's just different there. Obviously, you could never do that shit now. You'd fucking you die in jail. So
that is that. Yeah, you have anything else to add, Jeremy?
Mm, nah, I think that's about it. We're gonna talk about. Is there any more questions?
No, those were the three. Please ask more though. That was fun.
Mm-hmm.
yes,
Interesting.
questions are definitely good.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right.
Candyman
Anything?
time.
No. Mood swing time.
So we
Oh.
definitely decided that we're not gonna, do the list from 2 weeks ago because it doesn't really apply anymore. So the top 5 slashers from 1981 is not gonna happen. We're just gonna scrap that. So I'm just gonna go into a question for next week. It would have been cool if I could have asked this last week so we could do our list for this week.
Actually, I was thinking that it's almost better this way, to where you're asking it after we do the topic, because then it doesn't like kind of spoil the list. You know what I mean? Because like, for example, the Entity was on my list, and you kind of knew that I was really liking the film before we even went into the review.
I thought about that too, and yeah, you know what? I definitely will take that into consideration. Well, no, fuck it. I'll just won't do it anymore. So, okay. So for this week's Moodz Swingz question, this is actually kind of an interesting question because we all love. There's a lot of franchises out there. There's a lot of films, 4 films and stuff. But this, I want to know what your top 5 horror trilogies are. Now, there's a lot of trilogies out there. For example, like the Maniac Cop trilogy. Now, are we going to allow? Oh no, I think we discussed this actually. We're not going to allow the Dead trilogy, right?
Dead trilogy does not count. Scream no longer counts because there's a 4th film.
Yeah. Really, JP? I didn't know that.
But I mean, some people think of it as like the original 3 films, and then they, started over with.
I could see that. I could see that there was a 5 and 6, but it's like.
Yeah. So this is strictly just for trilogies only, and things like the Mother's trilogy will count, like Dario Argento's Mother trilogy, because that's a trilogy. So pretty self-explanatory. 3 films, trilogy, your top 5 trilogies, and I actually compiled quite a big list of them. I'm not going to go through them right now, but there is quite a bit. There's quite a few choices out there. So
now, if there's a situation where there's 3 films and a remake, the trilogy still counts, correct?
It does. The remake is not part of the original trilogy. It's just kind of, yeah.
There.
See, my question was, I was a little confused when I was, thinking about this question. I was like, well, how the fuck is that going to work? So I'm taking like the Ginger Dead Man series and the Evil Bong series. There's 3 films in each, right? But then there's a fucking Evil Bong verse Ginger Dead Man. Is that the 4th film for both series?
I say yes.
Okay, because because it's more like a spin-off, but at the same time, it really is
it's
kind
still
of another
part of the canon, though, dude. That's the thing.
True that. Okay. All right, guys. So trilogies, top 5 trilogies out there.
I doubt anybody's going to be struggling like, damn, I don't know if I can put Evil Bong in or not. I'm just covered anyway.
No. That was just an example for maybe run into another situation with that or something like that. Like the Evil Dead trilogy does count because we're going to consider the latest Evil Dead film as a remake, right?
Yeah, which it is a remake, but I mean, and like stuff like there was one that I was thinking of, but I totally forgot about it. Oh, Return of the Living Dead, like that is no longer a trilogy, which sucks because the 3 first films are,
Yeah, I know. I thought about that too.
It should be a trilogy, but it's not anymore. Even though the sequels have nothing to do with them, they're still technically considered sequels, I guess. So
those fucking shitty, what were they, sci-fi films or something like that?
There's 2 of them.
Yeah, they're terrible too, man. They're just awful.
Because Return of the Living Dead probably would have made mine, maybe.
I have to think about it.
Yeah, this is actually kind of hard. But when I started compiling, the list, I was like, wow, there actually is quite a few really cool trilogies out there. So, I know a couple that are going to be on my list, but I haven't made my bona fide top 5 list yet. So I have to think about this one.
Yeah, I'll definitely think about that too. What? Never mind. I was gonna say The Exorcist, but that's not. They made prequels to that. What about that? Prequels? Is that
Still, that's a franchise.
okay? Okay.
Yeah.
We've got way too into this.
But I mean, theoretically, it is like prequels and stuff. They're, there's what? Is there 6 Exorcist films? I don't remember. Yeah, I think there is 6 actually total. Fuck, that thing got out of control.
I think there's 5. Dude. 2 prequels and then the 3 original.
Is there just 5? Shit, I don't know.
It still got out of control.
I agree. Yeah. All right. So yeah, that's basically it for that.
So more Moodz Swingz. That's it.
Yeah.
All right. So now the main feature of the night. JP, I know, has a lot to say about this shit. We'll be talking about the 3 Candyman films, the trilogy, the Candyman trilogy. So, JP, you want to start off talking about the first film?
Candyman was released in 1992, starring Tony Todd, of course, Mr. Tony Todd. I think this is kind of the role that,
put him in the spotlight.
Yeah, and
Virginia
before
Madsen.
we even say anything about Candyman, I think it is only fair to say, no matter what we, what critiques we have about these films, I think Tony Todd deserves mad props for fucking sticking bees in his mouth, dude, because that would probably not be fun, and I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah, I know. I thought the same thing. It's fucking nasty, actually.
Yeah, man.
Like
he still creeps the shit out of me. Like meeting him in person and like taking a picture with him, I was like, oh my god, this guy fucking creeps the hell out of me even just standing next to him.
A lot of times I see actors and I see them with their stunts where they can't do their own stunts, and like I'm like, dude, you had to jump off a little ledge, like wait, come on, man. Like I would do like 90% of all that stuff. Like I think that sometimes, but like the bee in the mouth thing, and not only him, but a lot throughout this whole trilogy of films, a lot of people got bees like put all over them, and I'm like that's like kind of impressive to me. Now I did hear later on that the bees were, I guess, in bee lives, the lifespan of a bee. There's a certain amount of weeks old where they still look like adults, but the stingers don't pack enough venom to really do damage. And I guess they were specifically bred the bees to be that old during the filming of Candyman.
But they can still sting at that stage, though, right?
I think so. Which, damn.
So you're taking that chance of like, I mean, if you get stung on your tongue, it's gonna swell up, and that's gonna fuck some things up, man. Like, you wouldn't be able to talk properly. So that would really fuck it up.
Yeah, watching that stun in Jackass 3, the third film when they're playing the bee tetherball, I was like, fucking Tony Todd put that shit in his mouth. Stop being such pansies, man.
Did you guys hear me? This was based on a Clive Barker story, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
because the laser disc says from the chilling imagination of Clive Barker. So
the story is essentially the Bloody Mary story. Candyman. You say his name 5 times.
3 times.
Here.
3 times.
5 times.
5 times.
It's 5 times.
All right.
Yeah, 5 times.
I'm just thinking of the Biggie Smalls South Park reference. That's only 3 times.
And yeah, that's great. So we follow a woman and her friend who are writing their thesis on like urban legends, right?
Yep.
And Candyman is kind of the main topic of their thing. Candyman was this slave who he was the son of a slave, actually. He was an artist. He was hired to paint a portrait of a higher up type of white guy.
I think he was like a plantation owner. Like he was
plantation owner. I couldn't remember exactly what he was, but yeah. He was hired to paint her daughter. Of course, they have a interracial loving relationship that just is a no-go back then. And they pretty much just hunt him down, cut off his hand, stick a hook up in there, cover him in honey, and let the bees sting him to death. So Candyman, we later, in the sequels, we find out a bit more about the mirror and stuff, but right now, he just has, Cabrini Green was, what was that? Was that his, what connection did he have with that?
I
Is
could
there
tell
some
you.
kind of
I could tell you
connection?
the history of Cabrini Green if you
I
want.
I think it's where it happens. I think that's like when it takes place,
I
right?
could
I
give.
think
I could give some insight on Cabrini Green.
Yeah, he was killed there, right?
Yeah,
yeah, and then they later built the projects there, and I think that's why he kind of
which
Okay,
decided.
yeah, that makes
just
sense.
somewhere you
Yeah,
did not want to go, and them actually filming in that fucking Cabrini Green, give them major props for that because that's a place that you did not want to go back in the day.
Well, I remember hearing that there was like they actually had to put like the gang members
Yeah,
in the film as extras in order for them to like keep
yeah,
them safe. And
so,
I believe there was even like shots fired at one time,
yeah.
like at
Being
production
from
or something.
Chicago, you hear about Cabrini Green, and that's not a place you wanted to go. And they've been torn down since the film came out, but it's like not a place you want to go. And I gave them major props for fucking actually shooting inside of that place. It's kind of a place that you wouldn't want to
Yeah, I
go.
mean it is absolutely. I mean, just
it
finishing
look
up
it
the story really
it makes
quick.
it look really authentic, though.
Yeah,
Using a real place like that, that's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, so this woman gets completely involved in the Candyman mythos and ends up, of course, saying his name 5 times, and he basically, comes out. But there's more to the story. She kind of, as she's
Helen,
getting into the myth of him, they we kind of find out that there's like a um impersonate in an imposter killer, a copycat killer type of thing. You know what I mean? Somebody
Hmm.
who's pretending to be Candyman and just scaring the fuck out of everybody in the housing projects. Um, so from what I've always kind of been confused about what Candyman's goal is, and from what I kind of guess is she takes the legend of him away by catching that killer. And he kind of it's almost like a Freddy Krueger type thing in Freddy versus Jason, I guess, where he kind of wants his fame back. Is that kind of what he's doing?
I think there's a lot of ways to interpret this. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely unclear. I totally agree with you on that, but that could be one explanation for it for sure. Yeah, I mean,
From what I've
there's
read,
there's no other clear cuts reason for what's going on, so it's a good
Because
explanation.
he keeps saying like join me and we will live in infamy together or whatever, you know what I mean, like he wants his legend back. It seems like I don't, I never kind of really knew what Candyman was up to. I just know he's a dickhead because he
But
kind of,
it also comes off maybe he's like, come be with, come be one and stuff like that. Maybe it's like a new kind of love interest too, because he died. That was basically the reason why he was killed, right?
yeah, he loved he's a sympathetic character.
Exactly.
um
And he was killed over this, so maybe he's trying to find someone else and go from there. I don't know. It's very unclear exactly.
he likes to pop up, and because kind of whoever calls him out, he can kind of just follow them, and he'll just show up and kill somebody and then disappear. So it always looks like the person that called him, killed the person. He basically frames everybody. He's kind of an asshole.
I
Because
thought the exact same thing. I've always thought that. It's so funny.
yeah, because he does it so many times throughout the series. He'll just be like, show up, kill the person, and then disappear, and then the person's all covered in blood,
Well,
and they're like, "Fuck."
that's essentially what happens to Helen in the film. Virginia Madison's character is that
Yeah,
the police investigation leads to her, and she's number one suspect because all these killings keep happening around her, and they think that she's obviously doing this shit. But
great performance by her, by the way, man.
oh, she did a great job. Yeah,
When when she gets arrested for the murder of the dog and the kidnapping of the baby, when she's all
yeah,
covered in blood with the dog's head cut off and stuff, and she's in the police station, getting strip searched and stuff. Just the um
yeah. The raw emotion in her. She
yeah
actually, yeah.
like, man. uh I think that Candyman is very like classy, poetic type of film almost. The score is fucking amazing, dude. It goes so well. Like the opening
I know.
shot with aim down at the streets with just the score, man. I love that so much.
I honestly think the Candyman score is like one of the best. It's so fitting to that type of story. It just seems, like you said, very sympathetic, but it's haunting at the same time, and it just
haunting, sympathetic, poetic,
yeah.
like this.
It's very
classy.
elegant.
It's very elegant and classy.
It's very elegant in the fact that it's a piano riff. That's all it is. It's just a piano playing, but it's about the times too, because when Candyman is killed, in those times, what do you think a lot of rich folks were, playing in those days? Probably those pianos and shit in their places. Doesn't it just seem so fitting, to have that as the main focus of the score? It's awesome.
Also, she had, the whole thing with how the housing project, man, with the disgusting ass bathroom. Fuck.
That's what it really looks like, dude. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
that place was fucked. And to think that, I mean, I think it got the last Cabrini Green building got demolished in 2011. I think in the beginning of 2011. So people were living in those places until 3 years ago, and I don't think the fucking city ever did any fucking remodeling on it. So it's like, imagine living in that shit. It's crazy.
Could the setting for Candyman be more perfect?
No.
It is absolutely nailed, dude. I was really impressed watching it this time. I've seen it many times before, but this time I just picked up on so much more because I knew I was going to be talking about it, and I really, it has this vibe to it, and with the score and the setting that I truly find like artistic. It's just badass. The graffiti adds so much layers to the atmosphere, the graffiti that's everywhere and stuff, you know what I mean? And that's throughout the entire series. They kind of keep the graffiti thing going.
Yeah, they definitely do that through the whole series. I love some of those paintings, man. They're awesome.
Especially the one coming out of the mouth. It's like the main one. That is just so cool. Tony Todd doesn't have a lot of screen time, but when he's on screen, very haunting. You think of the scene where when she first sees him in the parking garage.
Yeah.
Great scene there, and then she just wakes up in a pool of blood. Fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, loses all that time, and I like that. I like that mystery to it too, because it gets you questioning, and you're like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. She just wakes up in a pool of blood with that girl that she met screaming, and she fucking goes nuts, dude. Now, they also play up the.
How exactly did she get there? Like, how do you think does he? Because she loses that whole time from the garage to that scene right there. Does he? I mean, what do you think really happened there?
Well, I think that the mythology of Candyman is never really set up. Like, we don't know the rules like we do with Freddy. You know what I mean? It seems like he has this hypnotic trance on people where he can kind of just take control over them with this like poetic type of whatever.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't say that he could just kind of transport her, over there, and it never goes into anything like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, did she?
There's absolutely no rules. There's no rules. Like, did she go there herself and then just wait? Like, obviously, he caused what happened there, but why wouldn't she remember the trip over there? So that's why I kind of question that. Maybe he just. I don't know. It's really interesting.
Definitely in the first film, if you don't even take the sequels into consideration, there's absolutely no rules to Candyman. You pretty much can't win against him. Almost, it's just
unfair.
Yeah, he's overpowered. I think going into the one thing that I think just kills this film is I think the ending is kind of very bad.
Interesting.
I don't want to go into it spoiler wise, but crawling through a giant pile of garbage that doesn't happen. It doesn't work like that. Like physics wise, it was silly. It's like a cartoon.
Yeah.
And that kind of I thought it was silly, kind of took me out of it, and I don't like how the whole thing ended. I don't get the whole. I think there's like a few problems with the actual narrative, like toward the. I don't think they knew what to do, like how to end it, how to, you know, set up the mythology behind this character past the point that they actually had it set up.
Yeah, they kind of turned the tables a little bit, and they kind of made Helen like this, I guess, almost in a way like an anti-hero, because she was suspect number one, right? And then she goes and saves this baby. Spoiler alert right there.
Oh wow.
But you know what I'm saying though, like, and then, oh shit, man, I can't even fucking say that either. Yeah, talking about ending of films, you got to be careful. But I don't know. Maybe I'll just get away from the whole ending. But I understand
what happens. There's not a whole lot that happens in this film from like.
I think
besides the framing story, like that's kind of your meat. Is like the framing story is kind of the film almost.
Yeah. One scene I find really worked well. I love the reaction of the girl when Helen comes back to her apartment after she escapes.
Oh yeah, man.
And she walks in, and the girl's fucking painting the walls, or her husband's mistress or whatever, the girl that he's fucking. And when she turns around and sees Helen standing there, her reaction is so genuine. Like, she actually pulled it off.
That's a great point, dude, because that is not what you expect in a film.
She was so terrified to see her, and it was just like, her reaction was brilliant, and it added so much fucking elegance to that whole scene right there. You're just like, wow, that's so powerful. Because like, they're scared shitless of her, because everyone's convinced. I don't think her husband was fully convinced that she was doing what everyone thought that she was kind of doing, but at the same time, she was away, so he was taking advantage of the situation and moving on, kind of thing. But
it's not only that; it's also there's many layers to that reaction, and it's also that she's a young, naive student, and she's just like was in over her head, and she just realized that she totally, like I'm fucking this, woman. I never thought I'd have to deal with this. Like you could just see all these emotions and reactions, like totally I fucked up type of thing going through her head.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Great point about that, because I did notice that watching it. I was like, that was, you did not expect that type of reaction. It was so real.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've never really been, too hard on the ending, but I do understand where you're coming from with crawling through that, that heap and stuff. Yeah. Metaphysically.
Is it not cartoonish? Does it not just seem like it should be animated?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Obviously, it kind of, it's set up for the film, obviously, where there's pathways and they can get around in there. But yeah, I understand where you're coming from with that. But I don't know. Overall, like the very, very kind of end of the film, I don't know. Like, it's okay, I guess. But yeah, I understand that scene is kind of silly when I really think about it. But
what I come to when I think about it is I can't really come up with a solution on how you end this Candyman story anyway. I don't think it was set up properly to have some sort of ending besides maybe just Candyman wins. That's the only thing I could come up with.
Well, that was one of my reactions years ago, was I think that Candyman should have just, walked away. He could have just won. I think that probably would have been a good solution, because I don't think people would have expected it either, right? This movie came out in 1992. If Candyman wins, it's pretty fucking shocking. But at the same time, it does seem fitting to the film, though, right? Because he is a sympathetic character. We actually do care about him, because you get that backstory, and like he was, and it's very fitting, because you kind of want to root for. I mean, he's obviously doing bad things, but he has kind of a motive for it though too, because he's back as evil, because these evil fucking crackers, they fucking went and fucked his ass up. Now he's getting,
all for, loving somebody.
Exactly. Right. And it's all about the love. And he was a very loving person. And that raw emotion from his real life, created that evil in him. And, it's a very sympathetic character. I think it's a very interesting idea for a movie.
At least in the first film.
Yeah.
The first film is a lot different than the two sequels in terms of just the.
Well, I think the ideas changed because I think what Candyman is all about at that point, which I guess we'll get into, but it's a little different because in the first film it's not about his family, right?
Yeah.
It's more about well, Helen obviously is not fucking family, but the other films is totally different. So,
I love this scene where he's floating above her and just talking to her. He's never like overly aggressive. He's just
I love that scene, man. I love the way they did that. It looks so good.
Yeah.
It's a great scene.
You never get the sense that he's not in control. He's in full control of every situation, and it's scary. It's like this guy's fucking
fuck, man, when Candyman talks, like the voiceovers, the effect that they put on his voice, it's so fucking effective too. You get drawn in by that voice every time. It's just so. Tony Todd was like just made for this role.
I'm kind of curious to know like what the Clive Barker story is. Is it anything at all like this? Because it almost seems like some of the dialogue had to be direct. Like Clive Barker had to have wrote like that. Like some of the dialogue.
I actually don't know. I've never. I mean, if it's based on a short by him. Is that what it is? I guess I don't know. Based on it's called it's called The Forbidden. So I would actually like to read that to see how it does compare to the adaptation, right?
Yeah. What the what is blood for if not for shedding? Like that just seems like something Clive Barker would come up with.
That's a great line.
Yeah,
it really is.
And Candyman delivers it perfectly. I don't have a whole lot more to say about the first film. I think it works in so many ways that I think the only problem it has is the ending. I don't think they knew how to end it properly, and they didn't set it up for a proper ending. But everything else about it, I think, is just fantastic. And I'll take that mediocre ending to sit through, the just complete artistic fucking visuals and sounds and everything else. Like it's awesome.
Yeah,
totally agree with everything you said.
Ratings?
What?
Ratings?
Oh man, I'm gonna give this one an 8 out of 10. 8.
Moodz?
That's exactly what I was gonna give it. 8 out of 10.
I give it an 8.5 out of 10. I think Candyman is one of the best films, definitely of the 90s.
Yeah, it really is.
For sure.
Too bad it wasn't 1 year later. I would review it on body bags.
Candyman Farewell to the Flesh, 1995.
Was this in theaters? Was this a direct DVD release? VHS?
I want to say this was not in theaters, but I'm not. Don't quote me on that.
Do you guys remember the Siskel and Ebert review of Candyman?
No.
Well, they're from here, so you have to.
I think they tore it up, dude. I think they said it was not. It was like it had. I think they said it had like some cool ideas, but it was just it was disgusting. Like that. Yeah. You know how they hated like the blood and shit, and they fucking were like kind of bajayjays about everything.
Bajayjays.
That's actually my favorite word for vagina. Little known fact.
Bajayjays.
JJ. That's so funny.
They hated every horror movie though.
Like, you guys don't know that word or something?
No, it's just funny you hearing saying for JJ. It's like just call it a pussy.
No, for JJ is like my favorite word for vagina. For real.
For JJ.
All right, Candyman 2. You want to talk about that one?
Yeah. JP, you explain it better than I do.
Oh, fuck. So they moved this one from Chicago to
New
Orleans, which
actually that's one note when I was watching the films, and I mean I picked up on this before, but all three films are in different locations.
Yep. Which kind of breaks. It doesn't break any rules, but usually what we're used to in sequels and slashers, especially slashers, is the killer haunts a certain ground. Jason, Crystal Lake.
Yeah.
Freddy, Springwood.
I thought the
Michael
exact same thing. Like,
Haddonfield.
it's so interesting, but it does relate to what happens in part 2 and part 3 because, that's why he's in different locations because there's certain people that just are in different locations, right?
One thing I would actually like to give credit to this film series, which I totally wasn't expecting, and I was surprised because not a lot of films do this, especially slashers, is continuity. I was really surprised to see all three films were connected, and not
Or like
too many
Phantasm.
continuity problems.
Like Phantasm.
Yeah.
Not like Phantasm, but not in terms of picking up right after each other.
Yeah, yeah.
So New Orleans now, and we're following. Who the hell are we following? We're following a descendant of Candyman, correct?
Yep.
That was a twist. Shit. These films are hard to talk about.
I know, that's why I'm letting you do it.
Um, this is during Mardi Gras, which I thought was a nice little setting. And I think that's kind of what they did with Day of the Dead is like they like the festival type
And
setting. It
Hatchet,
seems to
man.
work.
Hatchet.
I think that's exactly why Adam Green decided to try to get Candyman. He was like, I'm setting this shit in the swamp. It just fits, the Mardi Gras thing.
Yeah.
I think her name's the lead character is Annie.
You want to talk about this one, Moodz? I feel like I'm talking too much.
Well, it's basically about Annie, this character, and she's trying to solve the murder of her father, and this is actually kind of a hard one to talk about.
I know.
I did like the first scene where they're kind of the writer guy is talking about Candyman.
Yeah, yeah.
That was pretty cool. We actually get a flash. We actually get to see the scene because in the first film we just told about how Candyman was killed. We actually kind of see it this time, which I thought was a nice touch. Them spreading the hunt. Man, they put a lot of bees on people in these films.
It really did.
Candyman 2, I don't have as much to say about. I do want to say that right away, it's definitely a step down in the classiness department and the poetic thing. It's more slasher now.
Another thing about this movie that is definitely a downgrade is the acting. The brother in the film, I think, is terrible. I think he's just awful. He's an awful actor.
I think I noticed that right away when watching this.
Yeah.
I think that usually happens when you get anything straight to DVD, well, straight to VHS back in the day. Usually it was not the high superior acting that we're used to seeing today in some low budget movies.
I think that the problem I have with Candyman 2 is that the story seems like something that I could have came up with. And if I could have came up with it, then it's probably not a good story considering I'm not a script writer. You know what I mean?
Or a good writer in general. I'm just saying what you tell me. Just saying what you tell me, not making fun of you.
I agreed with you. But, I mean, the whole mirror thing and the family history, that seems like something that I might have thought of. And that's not good. It's too simple. I think you need something...
But this movie is kind of cliched in at times though too, because Annie is investigating the murder of her father. She really wants to come to the bottom of it because she doesn't believe in Candyman.
I think we actually need to say why it's in New Orleans and not Chicago, because the plantation where Candyman's father was a slave at was in New Orleans, and that's kind of where the family history, stayed. Besides, Candyman, I guess.
But okay, all right. I'm probably gonna say something stupid that's gonna make me look like an idiot. That's probably blatantly into the film, so I'm not gonna say anything.
Yeah, I've been totally trying to. Ever since I kind of almost spoiled the end of the first one, I've been really kind of thinking about what I'm saying here because this one is.
It's just so far away. It's like, how the fuck do you end up in New Orleans from Chicago? It's like they're on fucking opposite sides of the fucking country,
I guess it kind of. I mean, if doesn't it kind of matter where you say Candyman at? I mean, technically, that's kind of the story. He pops up when he's in the mirror.
But was he saying when we're saying that Cabrini Green in the first film is where Candyman was murdered at.
Yeah, but in the second film, they take us there because like what JP said, right?
Yeah.
That's why it's
That's where
taking
he
place
was
there.
born, I believe. His father. That's where his father was.
But the North was a free fucking state. How the hell did he die in Illinois if fucking Illinois was a free state?
Well, because slavery
Well,
was over in the first film, blacks wasn't allowed to like sleep with higher ups' daughters.
That was just white people being white people.
Yeah, okay.
Taking matters into their own fucking hands.
Yeah.
What they would probably say, vigilante justice, because interracial relationships
Angry
are not allowed.
mob
So
with torches and all.
yeah, that's not allowed. So they're just going to take it upon themselves to go kill an innocent man.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What are your thoughts on this film?
Like you said, I think the acting is definitely a step down. I think that the classiness is a step down. It just feels less.
I find that this movie doesn't use that awesome score enough, too.
But it does still have it, unlike the third film.
It does have it, but yeah, that was one thing I noticed right away. It doesn't have that, the effectiveness of the score and stuff. And I mean, the story's okay. Like I said, Annie, she's a school teacher. She's investigating the murder of her father.
Better than Candyman's 3 story.
The locals figure that Candyman had slayed him, and she doesn't believe in him at all, which relates right into kind of not the twist, but what the whole outcome of the film is.
I meant to mention this in the first one, but the locals are fucking terrified of Candyman, dude. Like it's just like they fully believe in him, and I don't know. And it seems that it's mostly the black people. And I don't know if that's like some kind of fucking racist commentary or something, or
no.
what
I
it
don't think it's racist or anything. I think it has a lot to do with down in New Orleans and stuff, and the whole voodoo thing, and they're just terrified of supernatural actually. And stuff, right? Because that's where voodoo comes from. And to a point, right? And I think that's what it has a lot to do. That's why they showcase black people. There's even scenes in the film with the voodoo, isn't there? Like they're kind of the one older lady or whatnot.
That's in the third film.
Is that right? The third? Holy shit!
With the egg.
Maybe it isn't the third film. Fuck, man. Those
are Mexicans.
Oh yeah, that is the third. Oh, totally. Okay. Wow, these things are.
I get what you're saying. Together. They're more in tune with their, the like, legends and stuff. That it's more part of their culture, I guess, is kind of what it is. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I thought that the setting was cool, and I think the set pieces with the house, the plantation house was cool. The mother was kind of a bitch, right? I mean, there was some cool framing, once again, Candyman framing people. There was some cool scenes like that, but overall, just kind of a step down.
Well, of course, what do you expect?
Yeah, because
it's going to live up.
The mom, of course. This is a really hard one to talk about because you can't really say a whole lot without giving pretty much the whole thing away. So, but yeah, the mother's. She knows things. She's hiding things, and Annie finds out what's really going on.
I thought that was too easy. Doesn't that just seem like the typical like rich bitchy mother?
But that brings me back to my point of this whole movie kind of being a little cliched. Is that with the brother being the prime suspect, and shit like there's just so many things that are just like I expect that to happen. He's in jail getting interrogated. They think he's fucking done all this shit and. Oh, come on. Really? But then of course the one police officer actually sees the videotape of what happened in that interrogation room, and then everything kind of changes a little bit. But
which overall, I find pretty interesting that Candyman allows himself to be filmed like that.
Yeah, but he was actually not on film.
But you know what I'm saying, like evidence, like leaving evidence.
I never really thought of that, but like when she's watching the footage, he's actually not on the screen. Like he's like a supernatural kind of thing, right? Which I thought
is also in the first one when she's sitting there screaming, he's under the bed and stuff. Yeah. Which is a great scene because it shows just how crazy she looks and her reaction to that. See, I keep wanting to talk about the first, but no, like the second film, I found that talking about it, I'm actually thinking that I enjoyed it less. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit when I was watching it, but now that I'm talking about it, it seems like everything's negative. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I actually like the movie. Like, I don't think I think there's just cliche. I think the story could have been a little better, but I don't
I
know.
mean, uh, to the credit of Candyman, anytime he's on screen, Tony Todd, um, that alone makes it kind of worth watching. He has this presence, man, and it's not
Oh,
just
yeah.
in
Even
Candyman.
today, he has that presence, man. It's crazy.
Final Destination, he has that type of
Yeah,
presence. He's
yeah.
just a very
He's a creepy guy. He gave me the fucking
yeah
creeps.
yeah. And I heard he's a dick and tries to steal people's girlfriends.
Oh, really? He wasn't a dick to me. He was really nice. He
It's a
liked.
Holliston reference, dude.
Oh, he liked my Laserdisc, so he even wrote "cool Laserdisc" when he signed my Laserdisc. So he was nice. He was nice to me.
Awesome.
Maybe he's a dick to other people. At least he's not like Linda Blair. So
Also, once again, I thought the ending to this film was pretty damn silly. Also,
Yeah, this is yeah. I was hoping that would get brought up. This is kind of like the first introduction to some really poor CGI. I would say.
yeah,
Like, honestly, when I don't want to say, well, obviously, okay, when Candyman's basically falling apart, are you kidding me? That looked like a fucking 7-year-old did that on a computer, man.
yeah. He
in micro
was.
in like Paint, Microsoft Paint.
Like, it was wow.
I
I'm like,
mean, but I'm not gonna say the actual ending, but doesn't the ending just feel like how I was saying with the first one, where they didn't know how to end it, so they just thought of this stupid mechanism that kind of could have fit in the story. That it just seems way too simple. It's just something
totally.
that
But I think
yeah.
that's the main problem with this trilogy is that there's not enough set rules, to actually create, something forthcoming, like, like a
I
really
agree.
bona fide ending. Like, like in the Nightmare on Elm Street series, there's rules to Freddy, and there's
Yeah.
ways that you can actually kill him. With the lack of rules for Candyman, it's like, ultimately, by the time you have your end of the film, it's like, well, what the fuck do we do? How do you even kill Candyman? Do you burn him? Do you break a fucking mirror? Do you throw him in front of a bus? Like, would you shoot him? Like honestly, how do you fucking kill him? Like, there's no,
Yeah,
there's
you're
nothing there.
absolutely right. There's not enough rules to
Yeah,
do anything.
it's definitely a flaw in this trilogy for sure.
Yeah, and I think the whole the thing that it was in the '90s and unoriginality was rampant.
At an all-time high.
Yeah, um, kind of is fitting. And you know what else is kind of fitting? That it or not fitting, but kind of bizarre that Scream was 1 year after this film, and doesn't it seem like such a like it's
They're
a
totally
crazy
different films.
difference,
They're
dude.
totally different
I mean,
films,
but just
though.
like just the feel in general is
This is like it's kind of intriguing too. This is like it's like a bona fide '90s trilogy. Like, all three of these films actually came out in the '90s.
Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty rare. But
That is
I mean,
rare.
like doesn't it seem like culture even feels so much different in that 1 year gap? Like when you look at Scream and you look at Candyman, like the way people are, pop culture, it feels like such a huge gap, and it's only 1 year from
Oh, big
Candyman
time.
2 to Scream.
But then again, if you look at the two films, like Farewell to the Flesh is pretty low budget. Scream, not so much. So you're
Yeah.
gonna get some quality differences there too. Hence the acting for one. I mean,
Yeah.
dude, the brother in this film is the brother from Marty from fucking Home Improvement. He was Tim's brother in that show.
Really?
He's a terrible actor. He's awful.
I didn't know
He's
that.
fucking
Tim
awful,
had a
man.
brother? I didn't even know that. It's been
Tim
too
had a
long
couple.
since I've watched
He had a couple
Home
brothers in that show.
Improvement. Um,
So anyway, I mean, do we have anything else on the film? I mean, overall, it feels like you said. I think it's a major step down. I still really enjoy Candyman, like you said. You've been talking about. I'm like, holy shit, did I even like that movie? But no, I actually kind of enjoyed it. I enjoyed where the story went with, with the main character, and why, Candyman's there and what's happening and stuff. This one's so hard to talk about.
it
But
really is. But don't get me wrong. When Candyman's on screen, that's what you're there to see, and
but that
it works well. That stuff works well.
what the story is it's like, I think it does ultimately work because of Candyman's, passion and love and stuff. And this is what it's kind of getting at, right? Family.
I think they were scared as fuck to go back to Chicago. They was like, let's get far away from here, man.
Hey, they cleaned it up.
I
Cleaned it up. It's not such a bad place to be these days. It's pretty nice, actually.
See, I wish they would do some like uncleaning in New York, because fucking 80s and 70s New York and even early 90s New York, I love it. It's so scummy and nasty.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I've been to New York recently, and it's very clean.
Yep.
Just put it that way. It's fucking clean, man.
Dude, like when you see Chud or like Basket Case and you just see the dirt like on every single wall everywhere, and like the streets are just so filthy. It just has a great feeling.
Just listening to William Lustig talk about him and Joe Spinell back when they were making Maniac, and like Joe Spinell would walk out of a porno house at 2 o'clock in the morning and say, "Hey, you have to come see this movie with me." They go in 3 o'clock in the morning and they go see a fucking movie in dirty New York. It's just like crazy to think about back in the day. Thinking about.
I love it. I love dirty, filthy, scummy, disgusting New York.
So, ratings on this one.
We can give this one a 6.5. 6.5.
I go 6.
6.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna go. Yeah, it's a tough one to rate actually, because there's elements of this.
Well, I'll be honest. I had it higher before we started talking about it.
I think I'm probably gonna go with a 6.5 too. I thought that they kind of. This one's pretty bloody though. Like there's some pretty bloody moments in it.
Yeah, because they turn it more into a slasher than a story.
Yeah. But ultimately, the end of the movie though, once again, not good.
Yeah.
I really did not enjoy the end, and plus also the 90s CGI is really off-putting. It's really, really off-putting, man. It's fucking bad. It's so dated and shitty, but so it definitely drops a notch. But the acting for me is a big thing. It's probably the most noticeable thing from Candyman to Candyman 2 is it's such a downgrade, and
Dude.
it's kind of a bummer. Actually, it's pretty bad.
I got another little problem here. That chick is nowhere near any % black.
So for people out there that have seen the movie, you know exactly what we're talking about right there. But you know what, dude? I thought the exact same. Like, man, you can't get any whiter than that.
Yeah.
Like blonde hair, blue eye. Like, fuck, man, she's stereotypical German right there.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
When they revealed that, I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
But considering that it's like great, like it's only like that couple generations back.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's only a few, man.
Yeah, like you would still, yeah, totally. It's a good point.
You would at least not have blonde fucking hair.
Yeah, it is interesting.
So
we're gonna get into Day of the Dead.
Ooh.
Candyman 3, 1999, Day of the Dead.
Direct to
This
VHS.
one's in California.
LA.
First off, I do want to say, okay, Candyman Day of the Dead. I gotta say, for a film that came out in 1999, did it not feel like it was about 6 years older?
Yes, it does. I was seriously thinking that.
Donna DeArco, the lead in the film, we all know her from Baywatch, and I believe Playboy. I think she was in Playboy
I
too.
don't know her from that.
But I'm pretty sure I jerked off to her naked pictures back in the day.
Good to know. Thanks, Moodz.
But anyways, but her style, like her pants are like they look like the early 90s, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? This came out in 99? I mean, like, come on, man. Girls weren't wearing their pants like that. I just thought it was very like non-stylistic. It didn't look like the times. I don't know.
Didn't have a budget.
It was something that was.
I love the 90s pants, man. I think they're fucking hilarious.
With them all tucked in and high, and
But no, I mean, honestly, dude, I thought that casting was like the worst, man. I couldn't stand this chick.
Man, Donna DeArco is a terrible actress. Like, I mean, it's man. It's pretty bad when she was like decent on Baywatch. I mean, that's the same.
Like, what is this Baywatch? Like you actually watch like I thought Baywatch was like a joke. Like everybody's like, oh, fucking Baywatch. Like you actually watch Baywatch?
No, I would literally watch Baywatch with mute on. I'd watch it for the girls.
Yeah,
I was in high school.
JP, you got to think this is before the internet. We could go and type in like
I know, I know.
anal loving horror and
No.
rip out your dick and
There was internet, but at the same time, it was just
dial up 286K broadband slow as.
super slow.
You guys remember scrambled porn though, right?
You would pick up the phone to
horrible.
call somebody and it'd be like, and you'd be like, fuck, someone's using the interwebs, so you can't fucking use the phone.
But you got to remember though, like when Baywatch was on in the '90s, I was in mid-high school or whatever, and yeah, I mean those were the days where my mom thought I had a cold, like all the time. She's all over the fucking house and shit. So, but yeah, Baywatch with the mute on. So, anyways, you want to talk about Day of the Dead?
I don't like her, dude, at all. Like, she was, like, nipply and stuff, which was cool, but...
Nipply.
like, there was some nudity in this one, which was
no, for JJ, though.
Like,
for JJ.
I kind of like the whole Mexican cholo thing going on there.
Cholo.
I like the whole Day of the Dead's idea, too. I think that's pretty cool, actually. But
yeah, I mean... I think they just like.
Well, they didn't execute it properly. I think they could have went into it a little bit more.
I do agree, dude. I really like that. I think one of the highlights of the scene, the film, is the egg scene with the bee coming out of the egg yolk. That was fucking cool.
It is good. So, do you want to give a little plot on the third one?
I think it's Jeremy's turn, correct?
No, not this one. Please.
Okay, so we find out in Candyman 2 that she's pregnant.
Film's fucking horrendous.
The main character is pregnant. We're following the daughter of her now, so like the great granddaughter of Candyman or some shit. Yeah. Which he totally fucking kisses her on the lips later in the film, and I was like, dude, what are you doing, weirdo?
Dude,
incest.
I was like so confused by that actually,
because it seems like he's like it's a love interest, like it's. Like he's trying to be all like Freddy on her or something. I don't know.
But see, this is where the whole mythology of Candyman is kind of like, what exactly is his goal here? Mm-hmm. Like if he's going to start making out with his great granddaughter, what's going on there? The writers
were confused. I don't think they realized. Like I think halfway through, like somebody was like,
but no one realized.
Somebody else came in and was like, didn't realize that like they were following the previous sequel.
But like no one realized it's like fuck, they're family, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so bizarre. I thought that was the most bizarre scene.
Because it doesn't even like acknowledge it as if that's happening. Like it totally doesn't. It seems like it totally slipped their mind or something. It's so weird.
Yeah.
So we're following the great-grand something of Candyman, and she's like has his art, and she's out to prove that he wasn't such a bad guy. Because
Caroline is her name.
He's her. She's related. She's trying to prove that like this whole like legend of him where he was like cutting motherfuckers up with a hook, like that's not him. He was a painter who got murdered. Like so that's what she's trying to say, but
she's trying to convince herself that the Candyman legend of him, coming back to life and cutting up people isn't true. But you can tell that she's like, I mean, there's a scene where she's with her friend. And they're like, hey, let's say Candyman 5 times in the mirror. And then they get to 4, and she's like, no, we don't need to do that. But you can tell that she's unsure. Her character, she knows that something's wrong.
Yeah, but it's badly acted. Like,
oh, no, it totally is. But
it's too obvious.
It's just plainly, it's painfully
it's not subtle
obvious.
Enough. Yeah,
it's
not
painfully
subtle.
obvious that she's like trying to say that, oh, this Candyman. But she, she's, you obviously know that she does. So.
Yeah. So basically, she is, conned into doing the Candyman 5 times in the mirror, or not conned, but like pressured into doing it.
Yeah.
She does it. Candyman comes back and is framing. Like it's actually not her. Like some guy that she met. That's like who's kind of being framed. This one is just there's nothing new. Like what is going on? What is this, like, what are they adding to this story?
Well, that's the thing about this movie that bugs me though, is that what is the goal in this movie? Like, what is going on here? I'm so confused. Like, does he want to become one with with Caroline, I mean, by like fucking, I mean, with the kissing scene, like it's
Let
so.
us fuck.
I
And
mean, for anyone
what
that's
was
listening out there, leave comments on if you guys have seen these movies. Fill us in with your thoughts. Because it's very open to interpretation here because
dude?
there's nothing written in stone here. It's not. This movie is so not spoon. Like, there's nothing there
Yeah, it
to
literally
work
is
with.
just
Like,
the
what the
perfect
fuck?
example of like one of those mindless slashers that everybody talk about.
It feels empty because there has to be a goal.
Absolutely no soul to this film.
Yeah, there's no, and yeah, lack of fucking soundtrack, really, really
Um,
bad acting. The
what
movie
was
looking dated. The movie looking dated. It
yeah,
really bugged me, man. I was like, fuck.
what was
Uh,
up with it? You know what I kind of vibe I got from it? I got the Hellraiser 3 vibe from it, where like it kind of had that same like what are you doing? Like the I
that same
remember in
kind of tone
Hellraiser
to the film.
3 I remember in Hellraiser 3 the casting of the blonde chick, the main character, I hated it. It just like it reminded me of this girl.
Hmm.
Like and what the hell was up with like that cult? Like they come out of nowhere. Like they don't set that up at all.
Yeah, yeah.
It was like, what? Is this like it felt like I stepped into a different movie. And the whole like terrible set with the like mountain of like skulls and shit, like what the fuck was that?
Oh, dude. Now, okay, that brings the bad CGI and the bad set. Like, I mean, you could literally see the cloth all over the whatever they used there, and like the fake bones and
Yeah,
shit. I'm
you
It's
like,
can't.
it's it's
Every time she
Edward
touches the
Edward
ground, it's
Caliber.
like you see like cloth over
yeah.
like a sculptured like
Edward
I'm like,
wood.
where did they?
Caliber.
I'm like, where did they film this in fucking Magic Mountain? I'm
Yeah,
like, seriously, this is horrible, man.
No, but
But
you know what was shot in Magic Mountain? Sorry, folks. Come on. Oh man.
I
I'm
don't
sure
even.
there was.
Vacation was shot in Magic Mountain.
Hmm.
I don't
But
even know
yeah,
what Magic
Just
Mountain
the
is.
greatest comedy of all times.
Magic Mountain,
Vacation?
Yeah.
Disneyland, in Disneyland.
What's vacation?
You've never seen National Lampoon Vacation with Chevy Chase?
Oh yeah, that's called National Lampoon's Vacation.
Sorry, I didn't add in the fucking National Lampoon, JP. I think
What?
everybody understand what I said when I was talking about vacation.
No, because I
What
think
other
there
movie
could be like
pops?
any film
What
named
other movie
Vacation.
pops in your mind when someone says vacation?
Dude, like I said, there's a like every movie has been named already. Like there's probably 1,000. You type in IMDb, there's probably going to be at least 5 films called Vacation.
Okay, name one other movie that you know called Vacation.
I
Getting
don't know
off,
any
we're
other
getting
movies
off
named
topic here.
Vacation, but
All
I'm
right,
just saying,
so
I
okay,
could.
okay. One scene in the film that really does kind of bother me a little bit is the fact that it almost seems like they're kind of poking jabs at Candyman's, the myth or the legend of it, and that is the scene in the art gallery display show or whatever you want to call it. There, when they pull that prank and shit, with the guy getting fucking,
Yeah,
tossed out and shit, like, with the actor and stuff. That whole scene just kind of bugged me because, it just seems like they're just kind of poking jabs at Candyman. But, considering before in the previous film, how scared the locals were in New Orleans about, Candyman stuff, everyone doesn't really seem to give a shit here.
yeah.
You know,
It's almost like he's become
it's
like a
kind of a joke. It's kind of a joke now.
like a spoof or a satire or something.
Yeah. I mean, they're
Um,
willing to have, like the opening of the building or whatever, what I'm talking about with the Candyman painting on there and stuff. I thought that was pretty cool. And I thought that was, pretty well shot and stuff. But as for, nobody really even giving a shit, it doesn't have that terror, in the people.
Did you notice they reshot the flashback footage? Like, I guess they probably had rights issues or something. So they redid like slight images of the flashback footage where he's being
Yeah.
uh
And they changed it actually because in the second one, when you see the flashbacks, he's actually on the ground getting
yeah
his arm cut off, and then he's get the bees, and he's kind of sitting up position. In this one right here, they actually show him basically on a crucifix kind of thing, right?
yeah.
And I was like, that's fucking weird because that's completely different. And are they? Do they think that we're fucking idiots and we're not going to realize shit like that. That's not how he was fucking executed in the first movie. I'm sorry, or in the second, or when they show it in the second movie. I'm like, okay, I watched all 3 of these in a row today, and I was like, that is bullshit, man. Come on.
Well, it had to be a rights issue, man, because this one's put out by Artisan.
But you couldn't put him on the ground, though. Why would you put him on a cross?
Crucifix.
Man? I have a feeling the other people they didn't even watch the previous Candyman film, dude.
Well, I mean, this whole making out with your family members thing, I don't know about that.
But when she meets Candyman for the first time in the subway or wherever the hell they are, which it can't be a subway, right? There's no subways in LA, is there?
It's weird because it actually is like a subway kind of thing. It's like an underground SkyTrain kind of deal, like a train. It is.
There's too much earthquakes for that shit, right?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Chicago has subways.
Well, there's a flaw. There's
Chicago?
There's a flaw in their script right there.
What, JP?
Is there earthquakes in Chicago?
Once every few years, the little ones, nothing major, like LA.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about shit like that, but I'm pretty sure
we've had them before.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Like a few years ago, we had one that shook things. You know,
I never actually even thought about that until you mentioned that. But yeah, I don't think they have an underground type subway in Los Angeles.
Anyway, that scene was kind of cool, right? I mean, that's
I'm bringing to my point that it's a flaw in the film. It's another flaw, because if they're going to show a scene that's supposed to be happening in LA with an underground train or whatever, that's quite
make
obvious.
It fucking accurate.
Anybody live in LA?
Try to make
let us know.
But I mean, I've been to LA a few times, and I'm pretty sure I never came across a subway.
I've never been in the subway, so.
But I don't know.
But I like when there's graffiti down there, which I like the graffiti stuff. It seems like it fits Candyman or something. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Probably the best thing about the movie, really.
Yeah, I think honestly, I actually think that the kills are probably the best thing about the movie, because there's more of them, and
this movie's actually I would say the goriest and the bloodiest out of all 3 of them.
And the one girl that's naked with the bees on her, you can see all the fake bees, but there's actually some real bees on her too, though. So it kind of makes up for all the fake bees.
Yeah, with the bees. I don't know, man. So there's just too many unanswered questions with this. It really does bug me with the whole kind of making out thing. I just want a reason. What is his goal?
That seems to be in your mind, Moodz, just making out stuff.
The goal, that is a huge thing. You need to know what's happening, what the plan is, what the plot is. There's no plot.
Yeah.
She calls Candyman and he shows up. That is seriously the whole movie.
Yeah, and he starts fucking randomly killing people, and
she's trying to save some dude who we give literally no fucks about.
Yeah, totally. He's not even a likable character, which is another fucking major flaw in the story for this film. Because really, you're trying to save someone that no one gives a shit about? That's gonna work.
Straight to DVD, man. They gotta get it out. Gotta make that money.
But the funny thing is, overall, I don't hate this movie or anything. It's just, it's kind of mindless, and I wish there was more substance to it, because there's just too many things going on that are just what the fuck.
That's totally the thing, where I was watching them and I enjoyed them way more than I am saying that I do right now. It's so weird. I can't find good things to say about them or something. It's weird.
No, I know it is weird, because I actually enjoyed, like I said, I watched all 3 in a row today, so it felt, I kind of felt that, that minor continuity in the films and stuff, but I really did start to notice a lot of flaws because I checked them all out. The flashback thing did kind of get to me a little bit. I was like, what the fuck? But I don't know. You guys have any other thoughts on this one? What are your thoughts?
I don't really have anything else. Jeremy?
I didn't like it very much. Like we talked about with the flashback stuff. Definitely one of the main issues of the film, I think. I think Moodz thinks that too. But
I think the biggest issue is definitely the lack of plot.
Yeah.
Another thing in the film that kind of got to me a little bit is the fact that she was in possession of all those original paintings,
Where the fuck did she get those?
I know, and they never explain that at all. And I'm
Like, I
like,
know she's the descendant, but I mean,
yeah, but is she? But were they kind
you
of
would
hinting
think.
at that she was the very last one or something? Because
No,
and that's
she said that. She said that her whole entire family's dead.
you're right. She does say that actually.
But
Okay, but so she ends up getting all these paintings and shit. But one thing that really actually kind of got to me a little bit was when the cop tells her that the studio was broken into and all the paintings were stolen. Her reaction, oh, those things have got to be fucking priceless. I would be a little more pissed off and show a little more emotion then. Okay, they're gone. I'm like, what? Can you get
Dude.
any more? Can you take any more emotion out of that scene by fucking shit acting like that? Oh, it's just bad. This is real bad.
I think that, wow, man. I mean,
He just sucked it dry, man.
you would think if there's an angry mob like killing Candyman, you think the first thing they're gonna do is go to his house and destroy all his shit, including all his paintings. Especially if the painting is of the daughter that he screwed and impregnated that they didn't want to happen.
Oh yeah. So where was the resolution with the paintings, anyways?
Well, hold the fucking phone a minute. The ending to this one's even more garbage than the other two.
Well, considering this is actually the final, well, it doesn't say it's the final Candyman, but yeah, the ending is. But the paintings were never recovered, were they?
Would you guys want to see a fourth
Dude,
Candyman?
the painting is how the painting, the main fucking the paintings. The cult had the painting. They had the main painting up on the thing on the Skull Island. This sounds so ridiculous.
Yeah.
And
But there was like fucking 50 of them though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. But the main painting of himself was the
Okay.
one that like that. Remember? I don't want to say. I don't know how. Like, I can't spoil it, but
Would you guys want to see a fourth Candyman? Would you like to see another one?
Yeah, I would actually.
Now that that film came out 15 years ago.
Well, I think we could talk about potential Candyman in a second. Let's just wrap up part 3.
All right. Ratings.
Ratings.
I gave it a 4.5.
I gave it a 5.
A little bit.
I think it probably is below average, but I would give it a 5. What'd you say, Moodz?
I'm probably going to give it like a 5.5, just based on
your love for Tony Todd.
No, well, Donna D'Errico's boobs gets an extra half point for me.
Dude, very
They're pretty nice.
I was pretty surprised at how nipply like the whole movie.
I just like how sleazy the film is, though, too, with the cop trying to hit on her. A lot of
side boob. That cop was in Ken Park. He tried to like blow his son.
That's awesome. I just like how sleazy it is because the cop's just like blatantly hitting on her like after these events and stuff. I'm like, that's real professional, dude. It's fucking funny, man.
Yeah, so Candyman, I know that there has been like talks of a remake, but it's much like the Child's Play remake. Why that's never came about? It's because the rights are owned by 2 different people. The original rights are owned, well, yeah, I guess 3 now, but I want to say that Artisan might be a subdivision of the second film's owner.
MGM.
Who owned the first film?
Not MGM. I don't know who owns the first film.
The first film?
Yeah. I guess I could look it
like
up.
Columbia.
It was put out by TriStar.
Yeah, I could look one sec.
Yeah, Columbia TriStar, right? So
yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting actually because all 3 of these films were put out by different companies.
Yeah, but I know that one of the companies is like a subdivision of the other company. But anyway, the rights are fucked up. That's why they can't, like, Candyman. Tony Todd has, I keep calling him Candyman. Tony Todd has literally had interviews where he said, like, they've, been talking about it forever, but the rights are, all jacked up and nobody can really figure out who has the rights to remake it. A lot of legal stuff going on.
Well, then fuck the remake. Let's just make a part 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. And which... Yeah, do it. The thing about Candyman is it relies so heavily on Tony Todd that it would be completely pointless to remake because there's not enough story there to.
And he's a little bigger than he was back then. he's gained a few pounds.
Tony Todd is
a little bit,
old, man. Um, yeah. So I mean, I guess we would want to see a sequel, possibly. I
It's
don't know.
not gonna
Maybe just
happen.
leave it alone.
Not gonna
I don't
happen.
know.
It's
Yeah,
gonna be
I think
teasers.
I think it's a long shot to have a sequel, but I mean, you can always wish and hope, but you know,
It's like Phantasm 5. It's never gonna happen.
You know, I always kind of. I wouldn't say that now.
You think Phantasm 5 could happen?
I think it's way more possible than Candyman 4, considering Don Coscarelli has stated that the fans want it, so maybe I should make it.
All right.
Nobody said that about Candyman.
well, that's because
But
part
let's
3 is coming before comes right before part 4.
yeah, let's hope
Uh,
at least in if they ever
these are
do
bad
where
things.
if they ever
Good
do
one.
where if they ever do make Candyman 5, Candyman 4, they don't wear pants from 2009 because that seems to be the train that happens in these films that
Exactly
they're a
right.
few
I
years
think
back.
I think that I think that you know I used to think like
They
why
used the
was there
wardrobe
never
from
a
the
kid?
first Candyman movie.
Or like somebody pulls out like someone pulls out like the first Android ever made, and they're like, "Yeah, look at this new phone, man."
Oh
It's like
god,
it's 2015, you
got a
assholes.
Motorola flip phone.
It's
So
2015, you assholes.
Candyman, I used to wonder like why was there never a number 4, but after watching them, yeah, there
So
was
let's
probably nobody yelling for
so
a part 4.
so we give such a high rating for the first one. I mean, they obviously descended as we went through the films. The ratings descended a little bit, but if you had to rate the trilogy,
Mm.
what would you give the whole trilogy as a rating? Think of it as a whole.
I
It's
mean,
hard, isn't it?
That is a tough question.
I'm
I
gonna
It is
start
really
off.
honestly
hard.
I could think a 7.
I got to go with 7 also.
7.
I know it seems
Those
to be the
two
safe
films.
number because when I was, when I was thinking up that question, I was thinking the same thing. I think I would go with the solid 7 too, just as a whole. But
The problem is, man, the first film is such a high, like the two following sequels are such a step down. It's like a major step. It might be like one of the biggest step downs in a trilogy, or at least films that have more than two sequels, or at least two sequels.
yeah,
Can you think of another one that's like such a huge step down that then continued with a third film?
yeah.
Feast.
Slumber
Feast
Party,
2.
Slumber Party Massacre 2.
Yeah, that movie's
Oh,
No,
trash.
because the
oh.
first film isn't nowhere near like that high to begin with.
Well, no, I mean,
It's still a fun film though.
I think
yeah.
it's just one, like it's just a little step down, dude. They're both not very good.
Oh, Slumber Party Massacre 2 is the weirdest movie I've ever seen, I
Yeah.
swear. It's like a rockabilly hit, like
Yeah, it's like a
fucking
It is
slasher
weird as hell.
musical.
yeah.
I don't know.
The first one's not that good, man. So it's not a huge
No.
step down.
It's not that great, but for some reason I really like that movie. It has some kind of weird charm that I like. I don't know. Cheese and bad, I guess. I don't know.
hmm
Yeah, I really can't think of a film that's that big of a step down. I I can't. Hmm.
I mean, if you wanted to get real technical, man, I mean, you could, for trilogies, I would probably say, in my opinion, just because I highly regard Reanimator as, it's literally one of my favorite movies ever made. So then the second one is a step down. But I really enjoy all three films, though. I know a lot of people don't like the third one because it was made for TV, but I think the second one is quite a step down. But it's still, in my opinion, not that bad. But compared to the original Reanimator, it's a major step down, in my opinion.
Well, I think that about wraps it up on the Candyman series,
Yeah,
correct?
that was a very deep, interesting discussion. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I think we've only done a few of these, Phantasm and now Candyman. So
And
let
I would kind of like to know if you guys would
yeah
want to see us to
yeah
keep doing these franchise shows,
yeah
because
let
we
us
got
know
others planned.
let us know what you guys think. If you think they're too boring and they drag on, or just let us know because we always are reading the comments and listening to you guys' suggestion.
Love
We
feedback.
yeah we love making you guys as big of a part of the show as we are. So please let us know if you think there's anything different that
And
we
and
need to
on
do.
that note, guys, a reminder: if you're still with us listening, The question is your top 5 trilogies. So submit your answers in the comments section, and of course I will get back to you, and we will read them out on the next episode, which will be next weekend. And also questions. If you guys have any random questions that you want to ask us, we will answer them. So if anything comes to your mind that you want to ask us, shoot it forward to us, because we are down for answering anything.
Oh yeah, of course, always willing to answer your questions. Fun, interesting conversations that could come out of those questions. So once again, everybody, thanks for listening to the 11th episode of the 22 Shots of Moodz and Horror podcast. Next week, we should be going back to our original show that we do every week. We'll be talking about the 2011 or 2012 film, The Woman, which is kind of like The Girl Next Door a little bit, but we'll get into that discussion next week. Once again, thanks everybody for listening. I'm your host, Jeremy, aka NESRuler22. You want to follow me, my channel, you could do so at youtube.com/NESRuler22. If you want to follow JP, aka the man who hates Pee Wee Herman, you can follow him and his channel at youtube.com/doubleshotj. And if you want to follow Moodz on his channel, you're on here right now, but youtube.com/Moodz616. Hope everybody had a good weekend, had a good few weeks off. Should talk to you guys again next week. With
also, www.knowyourhorror.com. Check it out, please. Definitely go over there. Check out the Facebook group page. Just request to be part of the group. It's really been popping over there lately. Lots of fun. Zach, I love Zach's post. He needs to post every week some kind of question.
Yeah.
Body bags, links, all in the description. Moodz
yes, we got a few more. We got a few more. I think we're 110 people on that Facebook page right now, but it's going good. People are really enjoying it, and I really like the feedback we've been getting too, and people saying that they revitalized their Facebook accounts just to join the group and stuff.
Yeah.
That makes us feel good. So at least you guys are enjoying it, and we're having fun. And if you have anything to post, fucking post it.
Yep.
Also, I just figured I would throw this out there too. We do have an email address. It's 22shotsofmoodsanhorror@gmail.com. So that's also a thing.
Alrighty.
Once again, thanks everybody again for listening. We should talk to you guys again next week with the 12th episode of the 22 Shots of Moodz and Horror podcast. Stay
Peace.
good, everybody. Talk
Peace.
to you again. See you guys.